doing our wild card round NFL picks against the spread. It's week 19, if you're keeping track of the week count. So going to go over the 6 picks for this week. I really like 2 of these games. I can't wait to hear what our co-host likes for tonight. Before we get into it, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. As always, I'm wearing something from the merch store. It is our August is Gluttony Month t-shirt, and if you can see it, there's a blue-haired large man in the picture, and every time my daughter sees it, she's like, "Dad, that's you, Dad." So that is that is interesting. So you get that here, as if you can see it close up. So you can get that as well as everything else at the merch store. We can change the colors of the shirts. You can get long sleeve, hoodie, women's tank top, infant onesie, everything here, including our famous apron, our mugs. We have baseball cap, and we're adding some more stuff. We actually discussed that yesterday. That we're going to add to the merch store in the coming weeks now that the regular season's over. You can go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent one is Jerks of the College Years, where I made fun of people at Penn State. And then my first book was A Safety and a Field Goal, which was a top 5 topic book about the NFL, mostly serious stuff, but some fun stuff too. And please consider super chat, super stickers. We got a great super chat from Kevin Kovac yesterday for $10. I said this, I've been saying it a lot. Q1 is here. Q1 has the lowest ad rates of any quarter, a fiscal quarter of the year. And so our ad rates are way down compared to what they were, especially what they were in Q4. So if you guys would really help us out here, it would be greatly appreciated and would keep the show going. All right, we're joined by Andy Iskoe of thelogicalapproach.com, which I will post on the screen right now. Andy, how are you? How's your week 18 and how's your New Year's?
I'm doing fine, Walt, and Happy New Year to you, your family, and all of our listeners and viewers. Hope it's gotten off to a good start with one weekend of football already in the books for 2026. Of course, the big important weekends, the next 4 weekends are the big one. Well, 4 out of the 5. We have the bye week in there. But actually, week 18 was better than I thought it might be. I actually had a winning weekend. Top play was Buffalo in their hammering of the New York Jets, which was not surprised. So the Jets ended, I believe, in their last 5 games, giving up, let's see, they lost 35-8. That's 27, 134 points in their last 5 games, if my math is correct, which would work out to about, let's see, 127 would be 27 something points a game, 27.8 or something like that.
Yeah, that they allowed.
Yeah.
So
They allowed, yeah.
Right. And yet in the second half of the season, their offense was ranked worse than their defense. Somehow.
Yeah, which is hard to believe, especially considering they traded away their 2 best defensive players.
Yep. Yeah. Right. It's unbelievable. Evan was texting me. He's like, in 40 years, you'll be telling your grandkids where you were, when you saw Brady Cook play down the stretch because he was so bad. He was like historically bad. It's just I don't think he covered a single.
I was watching the Jets game with 2 barf bags by my side.
Well, if you had the Bills, I'm sure it's a good barfing feeling.
Well, as a Jets fan.
Yeah. Oh, right. Well, I'm
a long-suffering Jets fan. By the way. Monday is January 12th. Okay. That will be the 57th anniversary of the Jets winning Super Bowl III.
Wow. Okay.
And the deal with the devil has been getting paid off in very small installments for 57 years.
You were there, right? You were there for that game? Yeah.
I haven't posted it on the website. I just found that I was looking for it. This is 1969, so I had a Kodak Instamatic camera. Many people today don't realize that you needed film for cameras back in the day. But in any event, I had a picture of it. Yeah, right. Well, that's the thing they show in movie theaters. Right. And I had a picture of the scoreboard. And it was already dark out. It was because I think the game started like 3 p.m. Eastern time, so it was a little bit after 6. And so it was dark out, but I show the scoreboard showing the Jets 16, the Colts 7. There's like 4 seconds left in the fourth quarter and all that, and that is up there. So that's kind of like a memory that I still went down there with my dad and his business partner and his son, who's about the same age. So we went down there for the day, and it was just a lot of fun. And like I say, New York sports fans had a lot of fun for about an 18-month period when the Jets won the Super Bowl. The Mets won the World Series October of that year, and the Knicks won the first of their 2 NBA titles in I think it was April of 1970, and we've been teased a few times since then, but have never been able to match those days.
Yeah, well, it's yeah, I guess you are paying for it, right? It's been a
Yeah.
long time, and it doesn't seem like the Jets are anywhere close. Although in the NFL, you can turn it around very quickly. You know, all you have to do is land a franchise quarterback, which we'll see. There might be a
No, the
couple of
Jets
them.
turned it around very quickly back around the early 70s. They went from a Super Bowl champion to like last place in about 3 years. They turned it around.
Yeah, I guess maybe the other
And then
way.
they forgot. And then they forgot how to go in reverse.
Right.
But
Well,
they had a few good years in the 80s and 90s. But as a franchise, I mean, look, I believe they now hold the longest active streak for not making the playoffs. I think it was 2010. So we're talking a decade and a half, and they don't appear to be much closer.
yeah, the Mark Sanchez years. That's
Yeah.
that's
They made.
a
I
long
think they
time
made
ago.
the one of the years. I think at least one of the years. I believe it was. They made the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, then it wasn't 2 years in a row. I thought they lost to the.
Maybe yeah, it may have been 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I sort of recall that, but
Yeah.
I think what they lose to Denver and Pittsburgh or something like that.
I think it
forget
was
exactly.
Indianapolis and Pittsburgh.
Colts.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
Colts. Yeah. So the Colts went to the Super Bowl in 09, and then they lost to the Saints in 2010.
Well, that was
That
the
was the
Jets' last
Steelers.
playoff. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
that was the Steelers that you lost to, and the Steelers played the Packers in the Super Bowl
Yeah.
that year. So yeah, it's crazy. It's been so long, and you guys have gone through so many bad quarterbacks.
It's hard to be that bad for that long.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not unique to the Jets. There are a number of franchises who have been that bad for that long. You know, there are only 4 teams that have never made the Super Bowl out of the 32.
Right,
And you know, we've
Texans,
only had
Panthers, Jaguars.
no Panthers made it.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Texans,
It was
Jaguars,
Detroit, the
Lions,
Jaguars, the
Texans.
Browns, and the Texans. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait.
Yeah.
What do we say? Yeah, Detroit, Cleveland, Houston, and Detroit, Cleveland, Houston, and
Jacksonville.
And Jacksonville. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I forgot that Panthers Super Bowl against.
Which is
Patriots.
interesting because this year Jacksonville and Houston both have a chance.
They do. Yeah. Maybe we can run through at the end of the picks, run through what we think is going to happen throughout the entire scope of the playoffs and see what happens. Because that was a big topic of discussion yesterday we had because we were drafting like playoff
Teams
best
for the playoffs.
Yeah, playoff best ball, which has
Yeah.
$1 million the first, and so you kind of have to you have to draft players.
You have to forecast who's going. You have to basically rate
Yeah.
the players or rate them about how far you think their teams can go.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to make a lot. You have to make a roster with 2 teams, basically, one AFC, one NFC, and a lot of people don't. Some people don't realize that, but
Yeah.
you have to. Yeah. So like if
So in other words, you pick these teams prior to the start of the wild card round, and then you can make no changes, or
Right.
do you also have the or let's say you pick 15 players. How many players start?
Well, so if you take like 2 quarterbacks, the quarterback
Yeah.
who scores the highest is automatically in your lineup.
Oh, okay.
There's no management.
Okay. I'm sorry.
There's no management to this team. You just draft and then that's
Oh,
it.
you blast however number of players and whoever are the 5 highest scores, assuming you have at least 5 players still playing,
Mhm.
you get their scores for the positions.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, and 1 flex. So
okay.
any
So
position
6
that's not a
people.
quarterback. Yeah. So what you do is like for example, if you're drafting Josh Allen first, you want a lot of Bills. You
Yeah.
want a lot of Bills, but you also want players from an NFC team. So
Yeah. Well,
second
and
round
you're
pick-
also expecting Buffalo to hopefully at least beat Jacksonville and advance a round or 2. Right? Because
Exactly.
you do not want to pick a team. You may have you may have Josh Allen, but you think that they're going to lose to Jacksonville. You won't take Josh Allen.
Right. Exactly.
Because
so
you'd only get his points for the 1 game.
yeah. So yeah, that's why the Rams are at a premium because they're the highest
Yeah.
favorite, and so Puka Nacua is often the first pick. So it makes sense that Stafford and Devontae Adams, they usually go in the top 8. So it makes sense. And then Kyron Williams.
Now, is it a draft or is it open to like anybody and everybody can pick the same players if they want?
It is here on the screen here. It is it's open. Well, I mean, it's a draft. So you go first. This person went first. He took Nacua. Then this guy took.
Okay, how many teams?
6
in the
teams.
in the 6 teams in your contest.
in the pod. So
Right.
the winner of this pod in the first round goes to the next round, and they play
Okay.
5 other winners, and then the winner of that goes to the next round, and then the winner of that goes to the Super Bowl round, and whoever wins first place in that final round gets $1 million. If you make it to the next round automatically, you get 1.5x your entry.
Now, but
So
how many people overall are entering? There's going to be thousands, right?
I think it's 180,000 people.
Okay.
Entries, 180,000 entries. You can have up to
Entries.
150. Yeah.
So how do they whittle all the teams down to just two? If there's 180,000.
Well, there's not. It's in the championship here. I'll put it up here. So in the first round, only the first moves on. So in round 2, second through 6 get $30.
So 100. No, I'm saying you got 180,000 teams, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So, but in the
And
Super Bowl round, there's it looks like there's 816. So if you finish
okay.
501 to 816, you get $500.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
I
on and
see.
so forth.
Yeah.
It goes up. It goes up to $1 million first, to an 18,000 the second, 100,000 third, etc.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think I have about 80 or so entries already, maybe 90. And here I took like Drake May, then it took 49er players, McCaffrey, Kittle, then Henderson, Jennings. So I had like a Niners Patriots stack. So anyway, that's why we were talking about which teams could have the best chance of winning.
You're expecting the Eagles to lose.
Only in this because McCaffrey usually goes second or third, and McCaffrey went 201 here. So I thought, hey, let me build a McCaffrey team. I have more Eagle teams than Niner.
What do you mean went 201?
So first round, this is the first round. Nakua, then Jackson Smith and Jigba 102, Barkley's 103, Allen 104.
2 is what? Number 2 in the first round?
201 is round 2, pick 1. So,
okay,
it's like a snake. So McCaffrey goes 201, the Stafford goes 202. This guy drafted Adams, so that makes sense. This guy took Allen the Cook, so that makes sense. So most of these are logical picks. Some not so much.
Well, let me. Oh, I guess the easy question is, I imagine not too many Panthers, if any, went.
Maybe McMillan. Let's see. McMillan was in the 12th round, just because he could help you get out of the first round.
He could help you get to the second round.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's kind of like last year.
But it's unlikely to go beyond that. But if you happen to think, for example, that Seattle's going to win the Super Bowl, you'll take the receiver.
Yeah, but the issue here is if you take JSN, he has a bye in round 1, so you don't get any points for him in round 1. So that's the issue with the Seahawks and the Bronco players.
And then the Broncos, yeah.
So generally they go later. JSN still goes first round, which I think is way too high for a guy who's not going to give you.
Sorry,
who
went first?
JSN.
Oh, for Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would not be a good pick.
No, I wouldn't take him.
Because he's not worth anything to you if you don't advance to the second round.
Right, and everyone else has.
Or did you say that the cuts are made after each round?
Each round, yeah.
So you could have him, you could have Darnold, whatever. But if your team doesn't make it to the second round, doesn't do any good. You wasted the pick.
Exactly. And think about it this way: everyone gets first round production. Like this guy took Nakua. He's going to have Nakua in round 1. This guy's going to have Barkley production in round 1. This guy will have Josh Allen production in round 1. This guy will have Adams production in round 1. I will have Drake May production in round 1. But this guy will not have his first round production in round 1 because he's on a bye. So like I said,
what would you say? How many players are on the team?
12.
And you're saying all 12 players get the production in week 1?
It's this top. So this is the first quarterback. Second, it's top running back.
Oh, okay. You made it sound like you get everybody's protection in week 1. That's not the case.
Well, not the players on bye, but the.
Well, no, yeah. They, in other words, if he's the first receiver, you get the production of this he gets 0, so he wouldn't count.
Right. So in this lineup, so I have McCaffrey, right? So if he gets 20 fantasy points, for example,
right,
and Henderson gets 19, McCaffrey would be the running back. But let's just say Woody Marks has a monster game, has 24. He would be the running back in my lineup, in my round 1 lineup. So
your round 1 production, yeah.
Yeah, he would take precedence over McCaffrey, but McCaffrey could still be in the flex spot depending on if he beats all the receivers, the top 3 receivers. So. because there are two receivers
Yeah.
who are in the lineup. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love doing these drafts. It's so quick too. They last like 20 minutes. So, we
Yeah,
were
but you had
doing
to
a
do
bunch of
80 of
them.
them, right? Did
I've
you
done
say you
80
did
so
80 of
far.
them
I've done
in
about
20
eight, maybe
minutes
90.
each?
Yeah,
20 minutes
that
each?
yeah.
Wow, that's
It's
a lot
been
of time.
well, it's over 3 weeks so
Oh,
far. If I'm in the bathroom or if
well,
the
how do you do it over 3 weeks when you don't know the playoff teams?
let's see, that's the catch. So early on when I first started this, like back in week 16, you had Jonathan Taylor going like round two. And I was like, this is just great leverage here because clueless people are taking Jonathan Taylor so early. And I'm like, they're
Yeah,
automatically
because
going to
because
lose.
because they don't consider what the team that he's playing on. They just take a
Right.
look. Oh, he's like number 2 or 3 in rushing.
Exactly. So I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, so instead of being 1-6 to advance, I'm at least 1-5, and then a lot,
yeah,
like Detroit players are being taken early, and I'm like,
yeah,
I don't think Detroit's even if they get in, I don't think they're going very far. So I thought, okay, this guy has Taylor, this guy has Amon-Ra St. Brown, this guy has Gibbs. Like I'm 1-3 to advance instead of 1-6, and so
yeah.
there's some give and take there. I was like, yeah, sure, you don't know everyone, and I drafted some Tampa players, so like in like 8% of my lineups or 9% of my lineups, like I have Tampa players. So like those rosters are terrible. But the
Yeah,
ones where
they all get zero. So you're basically playing with an 11-man roster.
right, exactly. Although they were late picks. But anyway, there's some give and take there because the lineups where I still have everyone, I'm competing against people who have drafted Tampa players or Detroit players or
Yeah,
Indianapolis players or Baltimore players. So it's you can really do some damage if
or
you're
Jets players because Jets fans are always optimistic.
Sadly, I don't think a Jet player was drafted, but yeah, I did.
Nor
I did
should there have been any.
no, I did see Trey McBride get drafted. I was like, "What are you doing? Why would you draft Trey McBride?" Uh, so I don't know. I don't even know why he was an option. So anyway, yeah, that's a lot of fun. So that's why we're talking about like who could advance. So
Yeah.
we could get into that at the end. We had some comments before we begin. Hey Walter, which NFL team do you think John Harbaugh will be on between the Falcons and the Giants? I think I don't know. I think the Giants maybe they might be more
I think the
attractive.
Giants is a little bit more attractive because
Yeah,
of the quarterback. I'll call it not certainty, but you have to figure Jackson Dark's ahead of Penix Jr.
yeah, I think so. And they Malik
And you got a
Neighbors
great
and
neighbors, and you got
yeah,
Scadaboo.
you have your left tackle and Andrew Thomas. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you have good edge rushers. They only need a
But I don't
little
know
bit.
if Harbaugh would be the number one choice. I mean, we're talking about you got Stefanski. I know the
Mm,
Giants interviewed McCarthy today.
yeah,
So
well, for Dart's sake, I hope it's not McCarthy. But
yeah,
no, I think it'll be Harbaugh or Stefanski. I think you're right.
yeah.
What do you think about that firing? Because that caught everyone by surprise. I think maybe
Well,
not everyone.
my understanding is that the owner wanted him to get rid of Monken, the offensive coordinator, and Harbaugh didn't want to do that, even though it made a lot of sense because Harbaugh was not the reason that Derrick Henry didn't get those carries. That's the play caller, the offensive coordinator. So I could understand the desire. So I guess Harbaugh's sticking up for his his player, and he basically said, you know what? I can get a job anywhere in this league. So if you want to make a change and let me go, I won't have any trouble, and we can just both of those he and the owner can go forward.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
Harbaugh had a position of strength, and you have to, I guess, admire the fact that he stuck up for one of his assistant coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's still so mind-boggling that they would fire him.
I think you know what I thought. I had this crazy idea. I think I may have mentioned it on a show or two
Okay.
that the Ravens would trade Harbaugh to the Steelers for Mike Tomlin.
Oh wow. Okay.
They've both been there. One's been there 17 years. The other's been there 18 years or 18 and 19, whatever it is. You grow stale. These things. You only have so many speeches you can give game after game, year after year. But you go to a new place, you get energized. The team gets energized. The Steelers get a coach who they know is a winner. The Ravens get a coach who they know is a winner.
Yeah.
It just would have been interesting.
Yeah, it would be
because I think the fan bases of both teams would find that intriguing because they know that they've had coaches that over the long haul of their careers have been winners, but they haven't been able to advance in the playoffs over the past decade for the most part.
Yeah, it could be like Andy Reid, who got
Yeah,
reinvigorated in Kansas City.
yeah,
But for the team, like I don't think this will have quite the impact that kind of like when the Titans fired Vrabel, where they suddenly became one of the worst teams in the NFL. But I do think that it might be like the Eagles, where they kind of flounder around for a few years, kind of like
yeah.
when the Eagles did with Chip Kelly. I guess it really just depends on who the replacement is. We don't know that yet.
You're talking about for the Ravens, yeah.
For the Ravens, yeah.
Well,
So
they still have Lamar Jackson is in his prime. Derrick Henry is past his prime, but given his limited play this year, except for that one game, he's probably got a few years left. And you got Flowers and Andrews, and a defense that's better than it showed for a good part of this year when
yeah,
everybody was healthy. I mean, that's an attractive spot as well. But of course, the bar is pretty high considering their ability to make the playoffs so often. But I would think, yeah, of the teams that are missing there, I think you got to rank Cleveland well, I was going to say Cleveland. You could put the Raiders, I guess, at the bottom.
yeah,
Um, you know, but uh, the Raiders have some talent. The defense wasn't terrible this year; kept them in a number of games. But the offense was putrid. I think they were last in the league in scoring. I think they averaged under 15 points per game. So that, I mean, the only thing that's attractive about them is the number one draft choice. But there's no guarantee that a number one draft choice is going to turn your franchise around unless they add in. And now they've got a lot of cap space, but if they can turn things around by making 2 or 3 additions to the offensive line, well, then all of a sudden they are a much better team than this year.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens with the quarterback. There's no elite prospect this year, but Mendoza has looked promising, so
Yeah.
maybe he will be good, and maybe they'll improve the offensive line.
He's got the size. He's had the coaching.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe they'll
And,
improve the offensive line so Ashton Genty gets some running room for
yeah,
once. That would be nice. So they need receivers. They need a lot, but
yeah,
they do have the top picks, so that is something.
yeah. That's
Um,
But
okay.
I would say, yeah, it's either I would say the Giants or the Falcons. I really like the Falcons, but we've been liking the Falcons every year in August.
Right, but they've had bad coaching. Now maybe
Yeah.
they get some good coaching in there and they finally live up to expectations. Like, it's kind of like the Chargers. Reminds me of them. Like everyone
Yeah.
always like, oh, this is the Charger year. This is the Chargers year. It never was, but then they got Jim Harbaugh, and then it finally
It was
became
the
the Chargers
Chargers,
year.
yeah.
Right,
And now
right.
we'll talk about that game a little bit later, but interesting to
Yeah,
see if Harbaugh can do in LA what he did with the 49ers in his second year. It's a
yeah.
long shot, but
Well, yeah, we'll see. We had a question here,
but
from
remember
Andrew.
the 49ers were pretty bad before Harbaugh. Was that
Yeah,
Jim Tomsello, the guy who went?
Tom Sula
I'm
went
not sure.
after.
Yeah.
Tom Sula went after Harbaugh. I think it was.
I was after Harbaugh. Who was it?
I think
Was it Mike Singletary?
It was Singletary right before
Okay.
Harbaugh. Yeah. He was fun. Andrew's asking about the Panthers Rams game. We'll get to that in a second, Andrew. Hey, Walt, do you have any picks for the college games? Yeah, they'll be posted very soon, probably tonight or tomorrow morning. Next season, I'm playing Keeper League for the first time. Is right now, top keepers are Bijan and Drake May. Which two would you keep provided? Would be my first time playing a Keeper League. My two best candidates are Bijan and Drake May. So of the two, which would you keep? I think I'd keep the running back. As good as Drake May is, and he's going to be incredible, running back is just such a premium, and quarterback is so deep in the NFL, especially if it's a 12-man league. I think I would keep Bijan. Now, if you're telling me it's like a 2-quarterback league, then I definitely would keep May. But in a standard scoring 12-man, I think Bijan is just more valuable right now.
Who's the greater injury risk between those two?
It has to be the running back, even though Bijan has never missed the game. But
the position,
yeah, right, yeah, running back has to be more. But there's more upside, and quarterback is so replaceable. You can play matchups with quarterbacks.
Just tell that to the New York Jets. Again,
well, not in real life, but in fantasy.
Yeah, in fantasy because you've got multiple good quarterbacks on most teams.
Right, you could pick. I had Jane Daniels in one of my leagues. I picked up Brock Purdy. Like it's you could do that, but you can't pick up Brock Purdy in real life. You have to settle for Brady Cook, who is historically a terrible quarterback. All right, as we get to the picks here. Of course, there are 6 games. There are 2 games on Saturday. The first game is Rams at the Panthers. The Rams are 10.5-point favorites. And they were 9.5 on the look ahead. We were looking at the spreads
last week. Yeah,
Yeah, they were 9.5. Now they're 10.5. They were 10 on Tuesday morning, I believe, or maybe Monday. But they've crept up to 10.5 here.
I saw an
Um,
11 briefly, and then it
okay.
went back to 10.5.
Okay. So Andrew was bringing up, and I wanted to say this question here. Help me out. Usually, like the home underdog, like the Seahawks in 2010 when they had a losing record to make the playoffs. Why the change here used to be an angle you took? Well, there has to be. You can't just. I feel like you just can't just like blindly take angles.
Yeah.
You have to handicap the games. You have to handicap the teams, and you kind of have to determine how good these teams are in comparison to one another. And I think this is the greatest discrepancy in talent I think you can have in
By
any
a
playoff
large
match.
margin, if you take a look
Yeah.
at the point spread of the 6 games.
Yeah.
There's no other game. What's 4.5 is the largest on the other?
Yeah.
Eagles?
Yes. But I'm saying, yeah, I'm saying, like, in
Four
my
and a half to
opinion,
10.
yeah, I'm saying, in my opinion, like, if you were to match up any team against the Panthers, I think this is the biggest talent discrepancy that you can have. It's not like Packers at Panthers. That would still be
Yeah.
a high line.
Maybe Seattle against the
Maybe,
Panthers.
yeah, maybe Seattle. Yeah, exactly. But I have the Rams rated ahead of Seattle, just ahead. Like, I've Rams one,
See, it's
Seattle
funny
two.
because I think my number now. I finally got Seattle about like 0.15 ahead of the Rams, but it's
Okay.
that close. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, we just saw Seahawks at Panthers. It was not pretty. Seattle won 27-10. Seattle didn't even play a good game, and they won 27-10. This Panthers team
that wasn't Rams were not coming off the Atlanta loss. Not the Atlanta loss. The Carolina loss in that game. Were they?
No, there was Seahawks Panthers. So it was 27-10.
Yeah, no. I know that, but I'm saying that was Carolina coming off that Rams win when they played Seattle.
I don't believe so. I think they were coming off the Saints loss, if I remember correctly. So that was week 17. Week 16 was Rams Seahawks, so it couldn't have been. It was
right.
It was Panthers were playing, I believe, the Buccaneers. They had just beaten the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm just going back. Yeah, Carolina beat the Rams. Then they had the bye, and then they won at New Orleans. Carolina.
Oh, they lost to New Orleans, and then they.
They lost at New Orleans,
and then
they played. Then they beat Tampa Bay in the first of the 2 games.
Yeah, they beat Tampa at home after that, and then but Seattle was coming off the win against the Rams, that overtime game. So Seattle was not in a good spot, and they did not play a good game, and yet they still won by 17. And that kind of shows you everything you need to know here. And the other
about both teams.
Yeah, 100%. So this Panthers team, I think, is the worst playoff team of all time. If you just look at all the metrics and the point differential, -69, the worst ever.
Yeah.
They've gotten lucky in so many games this year that you could argue they could be a 5-12 team, and not even.
Well, that -69 differential is probably equivalent, if not 5-12, maybe 6-11.
Yeah, I think something like that. 5-12, 6-11. Like we've never seen a team like that in the playoffs, and yet here we are with the Panthers. They played 3 games,
and the way they got in the playoffs, they were lucky that Atlanta beat New Orleans because they had the chance to clinch and they couldn't do it.
Yep.
And they had to rely on a 3-way tiebreaker because Atlanta, they all ended up 8-9, and the 3-way tiebreaker happened to favor Carolina. So.
They should have just put Atlanta in the playoffs. That would have given the best chance. Like, I know it would go against all the rules and stuff like that, but this is ridiculous. The Panthers.
Yeah, but remember, the rules don't take into account that it's all about money.
I know.
And TV ratings. And I think Atlanta by far would have been the more attractive game for eyeballs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Rams Falcons was a great Monday night game. The Falcons beat the Rams. So, and
the Falcons beat Buffalo earlier too.
Yeah. Granted, there was no Adams, there's no Alaric Jackson, there's no Kevin Dotson, but still, the Rams, I think, would have won the rematch, but it would have been much more interesting than this. I think this line's too low. The Panthers have played 3 Group A teams this year. One was that Rams game, granted, but the other 2, 27-10, the loss that they had to Seattle that we just mentioned, and the other one was 40-9 home loss to Buffalo. So this is how they played against Group A teams. So I like I said, I think this line's too low. I would make it like 14 or so, maybe even higher. And to top it off, the last thing I'll say is that there are three quarterbacks making their first playoff start in the playoffs this year. This is an angle I like. They are quarterbacks making their first playoff start are a great fade. This is dating back to 2002. Quarterbacks in their first start are 19-41 straight up, 19-40-1 against the spread.
You got Bryce Young, you got Trevor Lawrence, you got Drake May.
Oh, not Trevor Lawrence. You have
Bryce that's right. Young. He was there the year that Jacksonville made it in 2019 or something.
Oh, they remember they came back against the Chargers, and then they lost to Kansas City. The three quarterbacks this year: Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, and Drake May. So so we get a good opportunity to fade Bryce Young here with a bad Panther team. I love the Rams this week. What do you think?
If you check a look at how home underdogs have done in the playoffs over the past 8 or 9 years, I think there's something like 8-2 straight up.
I would assume they have a good record. Let's do 8 home underdogs and playoffs equals how far back did you want to go?
Go back to 2015.
2015.
To be 10 years of playoffs, 15 through 24.
Yeah, home underdogs 10-7 straight up, 13-4 against the spread.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What's the largest underdog in that sample?
Let's see. We had an 8.5-point underdog. The Redskins played the Buccaneers as 8.5. They lost by 8. That was the Tom Brady. That was Tom Brady versus Taylor Heineke. Yeah, Taylor Heineke was the quarterback for the Redskins that day. So the Redskins covered by half a point in that game.
I went back and I think checked my database that I kept myself. Goes back to 1988, and I think there were only 2 instances of double-digit home underdogs, and I think they both lost, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Well, the double-digit home dog, there was that Saints Seahawks game, the earthquake game.
Yeah.
So that was one. Let me type this in. I forget what the other one was. I think they covered as well, but they lost. No. This is only the second one that I see. So,
well, you only go back to what 2010 or something?
No, this is dating back to 1989 here. So maybe it was 9.5. No. That's weird. I thought there were 2, but no, I'm not seeing.
Yeah, I was just going to check because that's the number that I got before. So let me just. Pull it up here. Let's see. They're at home. And the line is less than minus 9.5.
Right.
Okay. I see what I forgot here. Hold on a second.
So I typed into Google and I don't believe it because it says NFL playoff history double-digit home underdogs have performed exceptionally well. They're 9-0 against the spread in the last 50 years. I don't know if there've been 9 of them, but I don't trust it.
And where am I getting these?
So anyway,
I know what I did wrong here. Hold on a second here. Greater than 0.
So anyway, while you type this in, I'll say that
here it is. I got them.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, and in 2010, Seattle was a 10-point dog, and they won and covered against. I guess it was New Orleans. Was that it?
The same.
41. The home underdog.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's wrong. What I have here, they did not cover the spread. 41-36, and then Washington. Was a 10-point dog against Tampa Bay, and they lost by 8. Yeah, well, you did different lines there. So yeah,
different lines. Yeah, I had 8.5, but yeah, maybe it was 10 and it dropped.
Oh no, no. Okay, they're 1-1. Seattle won that game as a 10-point dog.
Yeah, that was the Marshawn Lynch earthquake game.
Yeah, that's 41-36.
Yeah.
So in other words, those double-digit home dogs, the 2 of them that I've seen since 1988, are 1-1 straight up, but 2-0 against the spread.
Yeah, yeah, and there's an angle you can certainly take, as Andrew was asking, but I just don't view the Panthers as a playoff team. You know what I mean? Like they are as bad as those other teams were. I think the
Yeah,
Panthers are substantially worse than
I
those
don't
teams.
remember what the in 2010 what Seattle's record was. Um,
I think they're eight and
in
eight
the
or seven
were
and
they
nine
8-8? And how
maybe.
good was the? But the other question I was going to say, along with your comment about this year, how
7 and 9.
good was the rest of the AFC West in that year? They had
Yeah,
to be
NFC.
better. Seattle made it as a wild card, but maybe they were the third team
Hmm.
in that. I don't know. I mean, obviously they. Well, no, they would have had to been the division winner to host
Yeah,
the
they were the
wild card
division
game.
winner. They're
Yeah,
7 and 9. I believe the Rams are also 7 and 9 that year.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
it's
they
similar
were.
to this year in many respects. I mean, other than 16 versus 17 game schedule.
Hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So,
So.
yeah, I mean, and yeah. Obviously, that Seattle team was not a good team, but they did have Marshawn Lynch at least. That Pete Carroll was the head coach. Hasselbeck was the quarterback. They had some like real players there, and
No, those
eventually,
were the days when they would have played the number 5 seed, and the number 6 seed would play the number 3 seed,
mhm.
and both the 1 and 2 seeds had buys.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, so
And the Saints wasn't that like a year after the Saints won the Super Bowl?
yeah, it was, yeah.
So,
So
in
would
fact,
you?
in fact, the Saints probably were something like 11-5 that year,
I think they were, yeah.
and lost out to I don't know who they would have lost out to in that division because the Saints were so good for so long.
Hmm. I don't know. Maybe the Panthers. I want to say. I don't know. It's
Let me go back because I have all this. We're
well,
talking about the. Is this the 2010 season?
yeah,
Yeah,
2010. I'm
2010.
already there. In the so let's see here. Well, I clicked on Seattle, unfortunately. So, 2010 season, you had the Falcons won 13-3 that year. So
Yeah,
that's the
Atlanta.
Matt
Oh
Ryan's
yeah,
third
I
year.
have them 13-4 because they lost the playoff game. Carolina was 2-14. Tampa Bay was 10-6. And
Yeah, it's a good division. Yeah.
so
So
who are we talking about there? We're talking about
yeah, Atlanta's Matt Ryan's third year.
New Orleans. New Orleans was 11-6. Tampa was 10-6, 11-6. Yeah, so they were 11-5 because they lost to Seattle. Tampa Bay 10-6 and Atlanta 13-3. So that was a pretty good New Orleans team that couldn't win its division, going on the road against a team that was under 500.
Yeah, that was also the year Michael Vick came back, and he had the Eagles as the third seed. The Packers made the sixth seed. There were two 10-6 teams that did not make the playoffs that year. The Giants, I believe, the Giants.
Well, what I
lost the
wanted to
tiebreaker
come
the
into
Packers.
comparison was, let's see, the Rams were 7-9.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals were 5-11. The 49ers were 6-10. And Seattle was 8-10. So they were 7-9. They won a game and then they lost a game. So I guess in a sense you could say that it's very similar to this year, where you had the winner with a losing record, and the team that they are hosting is one of 3 teams that made the playoffs. Yeah. San Francisco, the Rams, and Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's a situation where, if you want to make analogous to it, the Panthers might have a chance against a team that is much better than them, much like New Orleans was much better than Seattle. And the profiles are the same. Seattle came from, a team where 7-9 was good enough to win the division, and New Orleans was good enough to win a division, but had to settle for either the second or third place in the NFC South that year.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the Saints obviously they won the Super Bowl,
and the line
before,
is basically the same at 10.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl.
Now I
do.
I do have a concern about how does Carolina play catch up.
Yeah. And that same team might have been a descending team just because they were so great the year before. Whereas this Ram team, I think, is better than the one we saw last year.
Yeah. But
So
the other thing is, did the Saints and Seattle play in the regular season that year in 2010?
Let's look.
Let me see if I can find that.
They did. They did. It was 34-19. The Seahawks lost to the Saints in New Orleans.
Okay, so the Saints beat them twice.
No, the Saints beat them the first time, then Seattle beat them in the
that's
playoffs.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was looking at the other way around. I was doing from the New Orleans.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Yeah, different location though. They
right.
Saints won at home against Seattle 34-19 in week 11. And then the Seahawks got them back. So yeah, this is a different dynamic where the Rams are the team with revenge here.
Yeah, the Rams lost on the road, and Seattle lost. Well, Seattle also lost on the road and then played at home, right? Because they upset New Orleans at home after losing on the road, and here you have Carolina lost at home and getting home
again.
They
won at home.
They won at home and then playing at home again.
Yes, that loss to Carolina might actually really help the Rams because they'll know the game plan, they'll know what to do.
Yeah.
I think that gives them a good edge here too. So
yeah,
it's not like they beat if they had beaten the Panthers like 30-10, maybe they'd be a little overconfident in this game.
Yeah.
But given that
that'd be like Ole Miss going up against Tulane.
Yeah.
And when Tulane and when Ole Miss showed that even though they blew them out in the first game, they were totally focused on blowing them out in the second game. That's why I liked Ole Miss last week, and that's why I like them again tomorrow.
Yeah. I think I like Ole Miss as well. Anyways, as far as this game is, so do you, given the
I have a lean to the Rams.
Okay. So we're both on the Rams here.
I mean, we're comparing it to basically two situations over the past 30-something years. Yeah. And the one with New Orleans, with Tampa Bay and Washington, that was very close to the line, as opposed to the Seattle-New Orleans game where you actually had the double-digit underdog, or in your case, 8.5-point underdog. You probably used a different source than I did, but where the underdog actually won outright. So we're really in a very, very small sample. So in other words, Seattle's win over New Orleans was like the exception to the rule, just like a Carolina win over the Rams would be it. But again, you don't have that that many situations of double digits. But even if you refine, see if you can refine it and see what the selection is for, what the results are for home underdogs greater than, say, 7.
Greater than including 7 or just greater than 7?
Greater than 7. More than a full touchdown underdog.
Okay. They are 3-0 against the spread. The results were the Redskins win over the Bucs that we talked about, the Seahawks win over the Saints that we talked about.
Now those are home underdogs. It's only 3 times.
Home underdogs, yes. And the third one was the Tim Tebow game, the Broncos against
Pittsburgh,
the Steelers.
The overtime one.
Yeah,
with the touchdown pass.
Demarius Thomas, the late Demarius Thomas.
Let me try something here. I'm gonna, because I got a lot of. I'm gonna see how far. I saw something earlier that.
This is going back to 1989.
Okay, let me see. I'm showing. Okay, home underdogs in the playoffs, all rounds. The line. Yeah, let me just do this here. Hold on a second.
Okay.
No, you're right. No. Okay, I forgot to change. Oh, okay. You know what? Apparently, there were no home underdogs greater than 7.5 and less than 10.
When?
I'm going from greater 7.5, and it's still showing just those 2 games. Did you say you had a third one?
Yeah, the Broncos Steelers, which my line for that, it says 8.5. But maybe it was 7. Maybe it went down to 7. I don't know if what killersports.com uses, like the closing line or whatever.
What year was that?
2011.
2011. That was Denver over the Steelers.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm showing a line of 7.
Okay, yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, I don't
29,
know.
23
Yeah,
on the yeah. Yeah, I don't know what
yeah,
kill because my lines in those years were from the Stardust, which was
I
no,
would
sorry, no,
trust.
it's 2011. It was
Yeah,
the Westgate, the Hilton, at that time.
yeah, I would trust your number, your
Yeah,
lines more than this. So, yeah, I mean, well, I mean, either way,
yeah.
it's not a small, it's not a big sample size whatsoever.
No,
Um,
in fact, they were 3-1 and 4-0 against the spread because in addition to the Seattle, New Orleans, and the Washington, Tampa Bay, you had that Denver Pittsburgh game, and then you had one in 2000, the Saints against the Rams, the St. Louis Rams.
right, right.
But that was a 7-point line.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
it also just shows how rare 7 or greater point underdogs are in the playoffs because you have to be a pretty good team to make the playoffs. But we were talking about a very horrible team in Seattle, and yet they pulled off the biggest upset
Yeah.
because the
Well, if the
Washington game was not as large.
but the Panthers can somehow time travel and get Marshawn Lynch in his prime and
Yeah.
get him on the team, then
Well,
maybe they'll.
they got your guy Doodle
That's right. That's right. Rico Doodle could have a good game, I
yeah.
guess.
Or
Uh,
Chubb.
yeah, yeah. Chuba Hubbard, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Chubba. Yeah, Chubba.
yeah, yeah. So I don't. So yeah, we both like the Rams here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think.
I mean, a little. I cautiously like the Rams, which means
Okay.
I doubt if I'm going to bet all 6 games. This would probably be one right now that I would not bet,
Okay.
even though everything supports it. Although, again, and you didn't get a chance. I'll tell you a little bit what I wrote in that game because I did write this one up. Let's see. Carolina backs its way into the playoffs after losing at Tampa Bay last Saturday, but winning a 3-team tiebreaker when Atlanta beat New Orleans on Sunday, putting the trio at 8-9. Panthers struggled against the best teams they faced, going 1-5 straight up and against the spread against my Class A teams, being outscored by an average of 16.8 points per game. That lone win, however, was against the Rams in a statistically even game in which the Rams were a season high -3 turnover margins. Okay. Actually, hold on a second. Let me, as long as I got it here, I had a season high. I'll just
Okay.
correct that. And they actually tied that in that loss to Atlanta. They were also -3. Rams have an overwhelming edge on offense, topping was it 27 points? I think it is. I have to go back and check that one.
Okay.
In 10 games this season. Conversely, the Panthers were held to 17 or less in 10 games. Rams were balanced with a rushing offense that ranks number 7 and a passing offense that's number 1. Although both teams are relatively even in the defensive stats, the gap in the offense is great enough. Wait a second here. Is great enough. Okay, yeah, I did have it. Okay, to suggest the Panthers cannot trade points with the Rams barring turnovers. Even with the -3 in turnovers in the first meeting, the Rams still rank number 4 in turnovers lost, 15, as compared to Carolina, which is number 21, having lost 23. If forced to play from behind, the Panthers allow more sacks, 15. Than they create on defense. Yeah, forced to play behind, the Panthers allow more sacks than they create on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad I'm checking this. I got a lot of typos in here that would not be picked up by spell check.
Yeah, the Panthers have the worst. They had the fewest quarterback pressures in the NFL this year.
The Rams defense has more than twice the number of sacks allowed by their offense. It's always tough to lay huge numbers on the road, but the Panthers are a losing team that won in perhaps the NFL's weakest division. The call is for the Rams to win. I've got a 27-13, but I only make the Rams a 1-star selection based upon the fact that it's double digits.
Okay. Yeah, I like the Rams more. Yeah, I like the Rams more, but we both have the same side. So asking which team will score the most points in round 1? I took a flyer on the Jaguars. Third choice boosted to +820. That's a nice number on the Jaguars. I would, if I had to pick, I think it would be the Rams because Carolina's defense is awful. Carolina's defense in rank in terms of EPA. They are well, they're 18th, but like I said, they don't have a good pressure rate. They have the worst quarterback pressures in the NFL. So
You're about
if you get
Carolina.
yeah. If they're not going to get to Stafford's just going to destroy them. So
Yeah.
I think that would be the case there. And then Andrew's saying for the next game, you don't mention the Bears are going to have the credit to get back to their home underdogs and another 2 seed. The Packers are 7, so the Bears have the motivational edge. So he's saying the Bears
No,
have
no,
the
no, no. Time
motivational
out,
edge.
time out, time out,
Yeah.
time out, time out, time out. Let's talk about motivation edge. There is no motivation edge in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
Either side. I don't care if it's single revenge, double revenge, or you haven't beaten the team in 17 years. If you can't be motivated at the highest level to win a playoff team that increases your playoff game to increase your chances, you don't deserve to be playing.
I think like the only instance of like motivational edge or psychological edge that you could possibly have is if there's like some insane distraction, like the Raiders had where their center disappeared the night before, like something like that, or someone's arrested or something.
Well, you had it last year with the Rams when they had to move the game due to the wildfires.
Yeah, well, that helped them, apparently.
Or you could look to Ole Miss for the chaos that they had with Lane Kiffin leaving, and they blew out Tulane, as I mentioned before, which got me on them the rest of the way, and then they beat Georgia. But it's different at the NFL level.
Yeah, I totally agree.
These are pros and Now, I mean, look, if anyone has a motivational edge, you could say the Rams have a motivational edge over the Panthers because of the fact that they lost to this team.
Right.
But that's not a motivational edge.
Yeah, I agree.
So in other words, we don't care if we beat them, lost them, or whatever. We need to win this game because we want to advance to the next round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree.
We'll get to the Packers and Bears
right now
in a bit. I actually changed my opinion on this one. So
okay. Well, I had this is the game in which I had the lowest opinion. Like I didn't really have a good play on this one. Here the Packers are 1-point favorites. They were 1-point dogs on Tuesday, I believe. Now they're 1-point favorites. I believe they're 1-point favorites on the advanced spread. Because we talked about that with Tom on Friday. He was pretty shocked that Green Bay was favored in Chicago. I'm not. I think these teams are in my rankings. They're right next to each other. They're even. So if you want to give 1 or 1.5 points for the Bears being at home, that's fine. But you're talking like 1 to 1. You're talking about -1 to +1.5. Like it's really not much of a difference. It's nothing to go on because this game it can't.
I have Green Bay on a neutral field rated about 0.5 points better than Chicago. Okay. And when I move the game to Chicago, I have the Bears favored by 1.1. So basically they're with you.
Okay. So as far as this game is, like the only thing that like really stands out to me is what I mentioned before with Bryce Young and Drake May. We'll talk about that in a bit. But this is the first time Caleb Williams is going to be starting a playoff game. And as I said before, quarterbacks making the first start, 19-41 straight up, 19-40-1 against the spread. Home favorites, or I guess they're home dogs now. Home underdogs are they're 3-7 straight up, 4-6 against the spread. So this actually against the spread, that's actually the best you could possibly. Actually, road underdogs are not bad either. They're 13.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
What is the record of teams that have lost 4 in a row entering the playoffs?
Not good.
Well, that's the Packers.
Right.
What's the record for teams losing 2 in a row?
I would assume not good either, unless they're sitting their starters in week 18. Yeah, in which case you really
Bears did not do that.
No, they didn't. Not do that. No, they didn't. So, yeah, like you said, these teams they're both underwhelming to me. I think whoever wins this game will lose right away in the next round. That's why I have a tough time handicapping this game, is because Caleb Williams is making his first start. So yeah, the Bears are home dogs, so that might look attractive, but I don't trust Caleb Williams. On the other hand, Packers team's in shambles because they don't have Parsons and they have other injuries. Jordan Love making his first start off a concussion, which I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal.
He could have played last week.
Right. I think if he had played last week, I think he might have struggled, but this week I don't think it's too much of a big deal. So I in the end I'm leaning toward Green Bay. But I like I said, this is the least favorite game for me as far as betting. I'm looking forward to watching this, but as far as
Yeah.
betting, I don't really have a side. Very very small lean to Green Bay. What do you think about this game?
I actually leaned to Chicago when I first started analyzing this game for purposes of writing it up, and here's what I came up with. Despite losing their final 2 games of the season, in which they were competitive all the way against San Francisco and last week against Detroit, it's been a truly remarkable season for the Bears. They last had a winning season in 2018, and after last season going 5-12, the Bears lured Detroit offensive coordinator Johnson away from the Lions to become their head coach, and the results were spectacular, going 11-2 following an 0-2 start before those last 2 losses. The concern is the defense, which allowed 6.0 yards per play, a full yard less than the Packers allow. And Chicago's defensive issues were consistent over the entirety of the season. Their better rushing offense, 4.9 yards per rush, is offset by Green Bay's better defense at stopping the run of 4.2. Green Bay has the experience edge, having now made the playoffs, or now making the playoffs in 6 of Coach LaFleur's 7 seasons. Green Bay quarterback Love cleared concussion protocol last week, but was held out of the game at the loss at Minnesota. Backup quarterback Willis is not probably. Well, he's probably going to play, but I just used the word probable. While Love is no longer on the injury report, Packers lost 4 in a row, 0-3-1 ATS, which is a concern, especially since that 1 ATS was a result of that line going up to 13 on game day. Those long, with Tommy Toon starting at quarterback, I guess it was. These longtime rivals played twice in the final 5 weeks of the season, with the teams splitting a pair of close games. Bears led the league in takeaways, 33. In games versus common opponents, the Packers fared slightly better. Chicago had a great season, but like many teams that make rapid rises, they often pay their dues with an early exit in their first playoff games after missing out for several seasons, which is Chicago last making the playoffs in 2020. Future is bright for the Bears, but we'll go with the more experienced team that sports the better defense. The call is Green Bay 23-16. Which is a vote for the Packers and the under, with the under a little bit stronger.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. We're 2 for 2 on the same side there. Sue says, I think the Bears' offensive line is the difference in this game. Everything seems pretty much the same.
Well, but again, the difference is also that the Packers defend the run very well, which is what Chicago does best.
Yeah, and I think that the Packers' experience is also something. There's no quarterback making the first start.
By the way, the concern I had, let me go back to the Rams for a moment, because I don't think I wrote this, but I thought about putting it in, and that is, let me get back here. I'll cite the exact numbers that I had. I have some concerns with their defense.
Mm-hmm.
Let me have a second to enter this here.
Okay.
Here's what it is. The Rams had a pretty good rushing defense for most of the years. However, in their 17 games, they had 3 of their worst defensive rushing performances in 3 of their last 7 games, allowing 164 to Carolina, 171 to Seattle, 219 to Atlanta. The only other performance was they allowed 179 to Baltimore in the game they won 17-3. They held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 opponents to under 100 yards. But in 2 of the last 3 games is when they allowed the 171 to Seattle and the 219 to Atlanta. And Carolina did have success running for 164 in that 31-28 win. So that was the concern that tempers my enthusiasm for the Rams, which is why it's a very slight lean in that game against Carolina, simply because Carolina showed an ability to run. And in 2 of the last 3 games, they were better teams, Seattle and Atlanta. Atlanta somewhat better than Carolina. Well, all 3 of them were 8 and 9. But that vulnerability is a concern because the Rams were playing to win both of those games, and they might have ended up being the number 1 seed if they had.
Yeah, it's so confusing whether the Rams are bad or good against the run because they had some great performances against the run and they've had some awful
Yeah.
performances against the run. It's so weird. So I
Well,
don't
I'll
know.
tell you what. Let me
Like,
let me go back here. And I'll tell you who those who those great performances were.
yeah,
One was against Philadelphia. One was against the Colts. One was against the 49ers in their first meeting.
yeah.
Then a Jacksonville, which okay is all right. Then the Saints, the 49ers in their second meeting, Arizona in both meetings, and Detroit in that
Well,
game that they won 41-34. So a
well, I
mixture of
mean,
teams.
yeah, I mean, stopping Jonathan Taylor and Gibbs and McCaffrey
Yeah,
that seems
yeah.
great. So yeah, it's very confusing. I can't figure out like why they're if they're good or bad against the run.
Well,
It's so weird.
the only thing that it tells me is that their rushing defense over the second half of the season, and let me see if I can get those numbers because again, I mentioned the isolated games where they had those bad numbers were mostly in the second half of the season.
Mhm.
The Rams rushing defense, they allowed 97 yards rushing in games 1 through 9 and 126 in games 10 through 17. Their yards per rush looks like it declined by almost a full yard per rush in the second half versus the first half. So
Okay.
that's a concern.
Yeah, I don't know why that would be. It didn't seem like there were any injuries there. So
No.
um, strange. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a couple of games here and there kind of inflated that number where they weren't completely focused. Like I don't think they showed up 100% against
The
Atlanta and
thing is,
Carolina.
the thing though is in those games that they allowed. Now they were behind most of the game against Atlanta,
Yeah,
but they had the lead for a good part of the game against Seattle.
yeah, they
That
were
was a
up
fourth.
30
That
to
was a fourth,
14.
and that's
Yeah.
when they gave up 171 yards, which you usually don't do if you're leading for three quarters.
Yeah, it was most of that was on the 55-yarder by Walker. I think outside of
Well,
that, Seattle wasn't really doing
that's
running.
still 116 yards in three quarters if you throw that one out.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
no,
true.
that was the fourth quarter run, right? The 55 yarder.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a concern.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
And
so,
against Atlanta, they allowed 219, but they only allowed 126 passing. So Atlanta clearly saw something that they could exploit.
hmm and most of that came in the first half. I know that
Yeah.
because we bet Bijan over, and he didn't quite get. No, maybe it was Algier over. He didn't get there in the second half. But
No.
anyway,
Someone accounted for a good part of the 219.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
guess it would be Bijan, but
yeah. Bijan didn't he had like a 90-yard run in the second quarter or
yeah,
something. Yeah,
yeah,
so
that
yeah, most
thing
of that
broke it.
happened.
I won't say broke it open, but it
Hmm
certainly made it more difficult for the Rams on that for that just that one play. So yeah, so
hmm
I mean that's the concern that I have for the Rams. Now I don't expect the Rams to lose the game, but if Carolina covers and they do it because they have success running the ball, that's probably the reason.
Yeah.
Because I don't expect the passing of Bryce Young to be overly effective if they're playing down 28-10.
hmm Yeah, yeah, for sure. We'll talk about the other games in a second. Love the information, guys. Good stuff. Thanks, Dom. Really appreciate it. Horace asking if we're gonna have picks for college football semifinals. Well, maybe at the end we'll discuss.
Well,
And I
I
will
just
post
mentioned
them.
I had Ole Miss tomorrow night.
You don't miss. So
That's what I
yeah,
have. Yeah.
we'll tease the second one for
Yeah.
later.
Well, you haven't given your pick for the first one.
I have well, I no, I like Ole Miss too. I think I want to fade Carson Black or Drek,
Oh.
Carson Drek, as you could say. I don't think he's that good. I know he had a good game against the
Yeah, but he
previous
hasn't
round, but
faced a Mississippi defense that is
right,
not a strength.
yeah. So no, well, you said the Eagles had a motivational edge when they were wearing the underdog mask. I think that's like maybe a special situation where the one seed was so disrespected with because no one gave them a shot.
Well,
It
that
doesn't
was the Super Bowl, right? Are you talking about the
That
Super
was
Bowl?
2017. Yeah, the 2017 Eagles. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's like I could not like equate these two situations because like that Eagles team was the best team all year, and
Yeah.
no one gave them a shot because of the quarterback injury. Whereas like the Bears were not even close to the best team all year. And like being underdogs to the Packers, they needed overtime to beat them in, and they split the series during the season. Like I couldn't like say
Well,
it's the same
that was
thing.
the Eagles team that beat the Patriots.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
they beat the Falcons, then the and then the Vikings in the playoffs, and then
Yeah, no, I'm saying I'm still not sure that you have again. I don't know that you need a motivational edge
yeah.
when it's the Super Bowl.
Well, not the Super Bowl. They wore the dog mask against the Falcons and then against the Vikings, in which
Yeah,
they
but
were both they were
weren't
home.
they also underdogs against against the Patriots?
Yes, they're underdogs in every game. Yeah, but here's the thing. So you can say, yeah, it was a motivational edge,
We don't
but
know. How about they were
right,
just a better team that day?
that's just about the same. Well, not better, not that day. Maybe they're just a better team in general
Well,
overall.
overall, well, yeah. I mean, we
Yeah,
don't know if they play. I don't recall if they played in the regular season, but certainly in that day, the biggest
yeah,
game of the season.
yeah. So maybe
I
they're
mean,
just a better
like
team.
they,
Than,
I mean,
yeah.
were the Eagles motivated to get to avenge their loss against Kansas City 2 years earlier when they beat them last year, or were they just motivated to win the Super Bowl and were clearly the better team?
Yeah, they're obviously the better team.
I mean,
Yeah.
Kansas City was going for what, a three-peat?
Yeah.
I'd say
So
that's pretty
yeah,
motivation. That's pretty good motivation.
yeah, it's so tough to have motivation in the playoffs. It's very rare, I think.
Well, no, it's tough to have a motivational edge.
Motivation edge, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everybody's motivated, and you
Right.
know, you're probably at your highest motivational level of the season. There
Hmm.
might be some exceptions, for a regular season game against your longtime rival. If I think I mean, it's a bad example because the Giants were not a good team this year, but they were clearly motivated last week against Dallas, who had beaten them like 7 times in a row.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Dallas didn't care because
But
they played Joe
again,
Milton.
yeah, that was a game between two teams that weren't going to make the playoffs and knew it, back in December.
Yeah.
Well, the Giants knew it in October, but
Yeah, I love how the Giants are motivated and the Cowboys are like, oh, we'll play Joe Milton. I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have 3 games on Sunday. The 1:00 game is Bills at the Jaguars. The Bills are favored by 1. This line really hasn't moved. So there's 1.5 here and there.
no,
But
I see.
one for the most part.
Jacksonville is pick them in a number.
Are they really? Okay.
Yeah, let me go to let me see. Yeah, Westgate. Bills open 1.5. Games currently pick. Circa. Bills open 1. Game currently pick.
Okay.
South Point. Open pick is pick. William Hill. Bills open 1.5. They're now 1. Local place here. The Station Casinos is a pick. Let me see. Do I show? I don't know why they took the game off Pinnacle right now. Let me see what that line is. Let's say the Buffalo 1.
Yeah.
But a number of those first 3, the Westgate, the Circa, and South Point are 3 of the bigger places here in Vegas, and they all have it at pick.
Okay, that's interesting that the Vegas lines are moving, but the online sports books are not. So interesting. Anyway,
one of the things I'm wondering is because I don't use offshore online books. I mean, I use online apps for the local books that I have accounts with here, but I'm just wondering if the offline we got issue some car out there is blasting away. Hope it's not mine. That
you need to check in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do that just in a moment. But I want to finish the thought that under some of those online books have multiple lines. In other words, they might have with alternate prices like -1, -2, -3.
Yeah. They do that. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go check the car. Just a moment.
Okay. All right. Andrew is saying if Denver is like a 5-point or 4-point underdogs against Buffalo, I think that might be a motivational edge. Maybe, but then again, like Buffalo has been such a mainstay in the playoffs, and Denver is kind of
not my car. It's the same car that was doing this about a couple of nights ago.
Okay, all right, that's
which and I wonder if what it means is that somebody has a fob that happens to be tuned to the same frequency.
That's weird. What do you think about this? The motivational edge question here. If Denver's let's just say a 5-point home dog to Buffalo next week, if Buffalo beats Jacksonville here,
right.
Would that be motivational edge for Denver, being that they're the number 1 seed?
I don't know that it would be a motivational edge because they don't care what the point spread is. They're looking to win the game.
Well, yeah.
Let me put it this way. Are they going to play any harder because they have more motivation? No, they're going to play as hard as they possibly can because the goal is to win the game.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they're going up
yeah.
and they're going up against a team that's going to play equally as hard because they're
Mhm.
looking to win the game, as opposed to a motivational edge in the regular season where it's week 7 and a win or a loss in that game is really not going to affect your chances for the playoffs.
Yeah, and I said that this is like what has Denver done to earn this sort of respect where they're like, oh, I can't believe we're big underdogs like this. Like this is the first time they're going to be at home in the playoffs in this era,
Yeah.
and Buffalo's been a mainstay in the playoffs, so it does feel like Buffalo should be favored, even though they are the 1 seed versus the 6 seed.
Is there an
So
advanced line on that game?
there probably is. I if I had to guess, well, for me, I would make it 5.5. Bills minus 5.5.
You'd make it that high?
Um,
Playing
oh
in
yeah,
Buffalo with their history on the
Denver.
road in the playoffs?
Yeah. There's no. I'm not seeing an advanced spread at least on
Yeah.
FanDuel. So maybe they'll have one later. So yeah, but I don't think it'll be a motivational edge. So to answer that
No.
question, but as far as Bills at Jaguars, this is the other game where I had the difficulty because we just don't know.
Well, again,
Josh Allen's
it's also a pick 'em game. It should be tough to handicap.
That's true. We don't know Josh Allen's status. Josh Allen has a foot injury. He couldn't move against the Eagles. Now he had a week off last week. He took
He
the
played
first
what, the first snap, yeah.
played
And
the
he
first
handed
snap.
it off, right?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
handoff, yeah.
So it's basically get a bye. So maybe he's healthy. But then again, maybe he's not.
Does he appear on the injury report yet this week?
He
Or
is
practice report?
yes, he's full on Wednesday. So
Okay.
which is what I expected. Like
Yeah.
I even wrote on the site, I'm like, we're gonna see him full and we're not gonna know if he's healthy or not. Because
Well,
these teams,
unless they're lying about it,
teams
why
do
would he
lie.
be a full? What's that?
Teams the Ravens lied about Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson,
I think you said Washington does thing or something
Wa-
like that, but
Washington doesn't even post an injury.
as opposed to, yeah, but I mean, well, would they want to risk a fine? The Bills. I mean, if there was any question, why wouldn't they keep him out of practice?
Well, I mean, he could be full and he could just be like throwing and not, like he doesn't have to scramble a lot in practice, right?
No.
So, like, even if he's full, it doesn't mean he's healthy.
But why would they even risk pulling a muscle if you're not fully healthy?
I mean, like, the full could just mean, I'm just like throwing in these drills real quick, and like, yeah, that's technically a full practice, and they weren't lying.
Yeah. Well,
So-
then what's even the purpose of a designation for a full practice? Because that's true of anybody.
Right. There's no purpose to this. They just have to do it because gambling apparently, but it's all bogus. Like the teams aren't held accountable for the most part. Sometimes they are, like the Ravens.
Well, they were with the Lamar Jackson situation.
Yeah. That's like the one instance, but teams lie about the stuff all the
I
time.
wonder if that's why Harbaugh got fired, because the fine.
Yeah, maybe. I remember this is an example from a few years ago, but do you remember when Joe Burrow had that calf injury and he started the year very slowly? He was full in practice every day during that span where he couldn't move.
Right.
And he was full in practice. So we're like, we're not learning anything here. Like they don't have to tell us. So
No, you're not learning anything, but the perception is he's healthy to go.
Yeah.
That's the interpretation of a full practice.
Right. He's
99% of the time, it's true.
Yeah, he's all right. He's ready to go. But can he? Okay, he can play. He can throw, but can he move around? Like, can he run? Like he did early in the season, or is he going to be limited in running like he was against the Eagles? Like we just don't know that. That's the issue here. And my point is that, like, if you were to tell me,
well, was he limited in running in practice?
But is he even going to run in practice?
Well, that's what I mean.
Right, we just don't know.
So that was a limited practice might mean he can throw, but he didn't run.
Or they just don't have him have any running plays. Then he's still full. He's still full in practice. This is no running plays.
Yeah, but he's still going to run. He's still going to run if they're not designed running plays.
Yeah, he could do like a light jog. Yeah, he could do a light jog and maybe like that. I don't know. Like we just my point is we just don't know. Like
no, that's what I'm saying. That's why even have it. It's meaningless if you don't know what. In other words, the NFL. I don't know. Maybe they have it somewhere. I haven't seen it, but I haven't looked for it. Maybe they say a full practice means the following: A, B, C, D were met. Okay, if
Yeah.
only 3 of them were met and not the 4th, it's a limited practice. And if only
I,
two
I
of them
wish,
were, and if
yeah,
only 2 of them were met, it's a very limited practice. That at least gives you some idea.
I wish it were that way, but it's not,
Well, if you were
unfortunately.
Goodell's buddy, you might be able to get it.
Well, I'm banned from the combine, so I'm
I
not going to
know,
be
I know.
Goodell's buddy.
That's why I said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be talking to Goodell anytime soon. So, uh, anyway, look, if you were to tell me Josh Allen is healthy enough to run around like he normally is,
Right.
then I would take the Bills in this game. As much as I like the Jaguars, I like the Jaguars a lot. I bet them to win the Super Bowl at 20-1.
Yeah.
But I just think the Bills' experience and the overall talent of Josh Allen, he's his best player in this game, as well as Trevor Lawrence has been playing. I think the Bills would end up winning a close game here in Jacksonville. But if Josh Allen can't run, then this offense is not going to be as good. Jacksonville's pass rush is terrific. The run defense is third since the
By the
midway
way,
point of the season.
just another interruption for a moment, because you're setting it up for a potentially very good early inline play. If you can
Yes.
tell in the first series or two that Allen is having issues, you go in heavy on the Jags.
I think that's the way to do it, is to bet this live. And if you could see if Allen's not running at all, then you bet the Jaguars. If Allen has like a nice scramble to start the game, then I think you bet the Bills. I think that's absolutely correct. But as far as heading into this game, I don't know. It's a tough call. I think I would go with the Jaguars here, but as a very, very small lean. But I think what you said is absolutely correct, is that this is something you bet live. So how do you feel about this game?
I actually like Buffalo in this game, and you mentioned some of the reasons, and this is the last of the 3 write-ups that I've been able to complete so far. I'm going to be working on those late into the night, early into the morning. I say this might be the most intriguing game of the weekend. Buffalo's in the playoffs for a 7th straight season and for the 8th time in 9. They will be playing their 15th playoff game since 2017. Jacksonville is in the playoffs for the first time since 2022 and just the second time since 2017. Buffalo has a huge edge in experience and does not have to worry about a pair of longtime nemeses, Baltimore and Kansas City, as both missed the playoffs. Jacksonville has won 8 in a row following their most recent loss when they blew a 29-10 fourth quarter lead at Houston in early November. Ironically, that comeback win by the Texans was the start of their own current 9-game win streak. Of the Jags' 8 straight wins, only 2 were against winning teams, Denver and the Chargers. Of course, both were impressive wins. Mm-hmm. Buffalo is 5-1 straight up, 4-2 against the spread versus common opponents, outscoring those common opponents by 14.3 points per game with a 168 average net yards edge. The Jags are just 4-2 straight up in ATS against those same teams, but with an average score margin of just 7.2 points per game, which is about half of Buffalo's margin, and a yards per point edge of plus 1.7. Sorry. Average margin 7.2. Average net yards deficit of minus 1 yard per game. So Buffalo plus 168 and the Jags minus 1. The 6 common games represent a third of the schedule. So we're talking, look, a 16, 17 game schedule is still a small sample, but this is 1/3 of that sample. Buffalo had a yards per play edge of plus 1.7. The Jags 0.3. Jags lead the NFL in rushing defense, allowing just 86 yards per game. Now, these stats are not to diminish what the Jags have done, and first season coach Cohn deserves Coach of the Year consideration in a crowded field. It's just a means to put into perspective their late season momentum coming against weak teams, for the most part. It would not be a surprise for the Jags to pull the upset, especially if they can consistently take advantage of Buffalo's number 28 rush defense, 136 yards per game. At the same time, the Jags offense will be challenged by Buffalo's number 1 pass defense, which allows just 157 yards per game. And even with that number 1 rush defense, the Bills have the number 1 rushing offense of 160 yards per game. The Bills and the fans and their fans know that the window of opportunity is, much like Kansas City's, closing, and with the Chiefs and Ravens preparing for next season. As with the Bears, the future looks bright for the Jags. The calls for Buffalo to win 27-20. And that's how I have a Buffalo a 3-star and the under a 2-star.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, you feel stronger about this game than I do. So Josh Allen's foot is not a worry for you?
Well, the line suggests that it shouldn't be.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
Because you're I mean, if you were to give this like a headline, experience versus momentum.
Yeah, that's fair. That's certainly fair. Tom says, I know who Walter wants to win. Actually, I have futures on both teams, so I don't mind either. Per Bills beat reporters, they said Josh Allen's foot is better than it was the last 2 weeks. I wish I could trust beat reporters. I just can't. I just can't trust any beat reporters. They never get anything right. I'll talk about your Jets heading into the year. We were told that Braylon Allen would split the carries evenly with Brees Hall.
Yeah.
These guys never get anything
Well,
right.
circumstances change, and everyone wants to be. I was the first to tell you so.
That's true. Yeah, that's certainly true. Very well written, Andy. Loaded with great information. I agree.
Unfortunately, that's the last of the three that I can read right now.
Okay. Well, I mean, sure.
But I have other information for the other games. Yeah.
Okay. Does Mina Kimes says we'll practice support on Josh Allen? Then we'll know if she does. It'd be funny if she came out and said Josh Allen's not a top 10 quarterback. Just in this case, Geno Smith is, but Josh Allen's not.
Josh Allen ranks number 11 in her.
Right. Geno Smith, well, just a little bit above.
Yeah, ranks number 11. Like he's number 1 twice. That's good.
Exactly. All right. Anyway, let's get to the middle of the Sunday games. We have the Niners at the Eagles. The Eagles are 4.5-point favorites. They were 2.5-point favorites on the advanced line,
and they opened 3.5 in most places on Sunday.
Evan and I bet the -2.5 last week. So I'm holding. Yeah, we're both holding -2.5 tickets. It's very nice. So anyone who listens to the show maybe has as well. So I'm feeling pretty good with my 2.5. But you know what? Instead of middling or hedging, I'm actually doubling down. I'm taking the Eagles again, -4.5. I think this line's too short. I think that despite the Niners having the better record here, they're 12-5. The Eagles are 11-6. I think the Eagles are a lot better than the 49ers.
Well, the only thing is go
ahead.
The way that the 40 are a much stronger division.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, the Niners have had a tougher divisional schedule.
And they've had to overcome more in injuries on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, sure. Like they've had a.
And by the way, it's just not a game or two that they had to overcome those injuries. It was, in many cases, season long.
So it's interesting. So yeah, they obviously they have to play the Rams and the Seahawks twice.
Yeah.
But they only played those teams 3 times instead of 4 if you don't count the first game because Nick Bosa and Fred Warner were healthy for that game. Like that the Niners still had everyone.
They still only won. What'd they win? 17-13?
Yeah, it was still a close game.
That's part, before you continue. That's part of the reason I'm a little concerned about the 49ers. They could only score 13 and 3 against that Seattle defense. And now they're facing a defense which may not be as strong as Seattle's, but certainly is right up there.
Yeah, in EPA, and I know you love EPA, but the Seahawks are number 1 in defense. Eagles are number 3, and the Eagles didn't.
Where's San Francisco? They got to be pretty far down.
Let's see, San Francisco
upper teens,
22.
Okay.
Yeah, they have no pass rush. They are, I believe, the 5th fewest quarterback pressures in the NFL this year, and some of that is a little buoyed by Nick Bosa in the first couple of games. So. This team can't get to the quarterback at all. We saw that against Tennessee, and Evan pointed this out. Cam Ward, who holds the ball the longest of any quarterback in the NFL, he was not sacked a single time against the Niners. We saw Chicago light up the Niners defense, 38 points. And the next week, Chicago couldn't score at all against Detroit. The San Francisco defense can't stop anything. So I think the Eagles should be able to score a lot here against San Francisco's defense. And then San Francisco's offense, which you heard that cool stat on ESPN. Oh, they haven't punted in December. Well, that's what happens when you play against terrible defenses or injury-ravaged defenses. Now, they were impressive. I mean, like Kittle had some amazing games. Brock Purdy played well. But then when they played Seattle, they only scored 3 points. And the Eagles are just nearly at that level. That's the same defensive level that Seattle is. And I would say that I think the Eagles match up better against the Niners than Seattle, because Seattle, they have one weakness defensively, and that one weakness is against tight ends, which you could have George Kittle exploit. The Eagles are number one against tight ends. They have the best defense in the NFL against that position. So like I really can't see George Kittle doing much outside of maybe like a fluky play or something. The Eagles with Jalen Carter, they're stout against the run. They can get after the quarterback. I think this line should be 7. I think this line is short, even at 4.5. I mean, it was way short at 2.5. So
and you got cross country travel.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it could be. I don't know what the temperature is going to be in Philly. It's actually warm today. It was like 50 degrees, but in Philly on Sunday, it looks like 45. Slight chance of rain. So no weather here, but yeah. So yeah, the travel is also a thing. You're right. So I think a lot benefits the Eagles here. This is one of my top plays of the week. Obviously, it was a 2.5, but even at 4.5, I still love the Eagles. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I haven't finished my write-up on this one. I barely started it, but I do like the Eagles in this one quite a bit, pretty much like you do. San Francisco 12-5. Their 12 wins came against teams that are 85 and 107 against the rest of the league. 22 games below 500. Eagles are better, but they're still a negative record, but that's only 84 and 90, so they're -6. Now, to be fair, the 49ers' 5 losses came against better teams. 54 and 26 against the rest of the league. Eagles' 6 losses came against teams that were 46 and 49. So the 49ers lost to better teams, but beat weak teams. Mm-hmm. The Eagles beat weak teams, but not nearly as weak as the teams that the 49ers beat, but they also had some losses against weak teams.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, now one of those losses was against Washington in a game that didn't matter.
Right. And,
then they lost to the Giants, whom they got revenge on when they met a second time.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they beat good teams too. Like they beat the Rams. They beat the Rams. They back when the Packers had Michael Parsons, they beat the Packers. I don't know if you want to consider the Lions a good team, but before the Lions lost their entire secondary, they beat the Lions. So, I think Eagles. But like I said, I would have made this line 7, maybe 6.5. So I think this is a short line. And
I think if they made it that high, they'd have gotten too much money on the 49ers.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying I would have set it that way. I just like my personal numbers. I would make it 6.5 or 7. So. Okay, glad to hear that we're on the same side here. So we're in lockstep in 3 of 4 games, and the only discrepancy is a game where I just
Bills
don't know.
Jags,
Bills Jags. I don't know how to bet it. So, all right, let's.
Plus, by the way, the Bills are playing fairly well late in the season as well. Of course, I don't know if I should count the game against the Jets. But...
right. Well, the Eagles game they lost. That felt like such a fluky game.
Yeah, so that was a weird game.
Yeah. First of all, Allen couldn't run. But then again, like the other thing was, I don't know if I talked to you about that fumble that Allen had. I thought it was like obvious fumble, or sorry, obvious incompletion. And then they ruled that it was a fumble, and that kind of changed the game because the Bills were driving, and then the Eagles got the ball in favorable field position.
But that kind of game for Buffalo, they should never been limited to as few points as they had.
Yeah, well, it was against the Eagles' great defense, so Plus, the Eagles
was Carter playing in that game?
I don't think
so.
He was. I don't think he was. No, I don't think so. Worth noting that Lane Johnson limited in Wednesday's practice, so better than the DMPs he's had. So it seems like he's going to return, which is obviously a huge deal because the Eagles are so much better with him than without him.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but not like not like the Niners have the pass rush to take advantage of it anyway. Walter, I heard you mention how you were banned from the combine before, which is hilarious. Although, can you share the reason or story as to why? Yeah, of course. Like I've talked about before. So back, I don't know if you guys remember the Ray Rice situation where Ray Rice.
That was like the early teens, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 2011 or 2012 or 2013, whatever year that was. And so Ray Rice was caught on camera hitting his, I don't know if his fiance or girlfriend. I can't remember what it was.
One or the other. Yeah, that was outside the hotel room in the hall.
Yeah.
Or the
So
elevator, by the
it's
elevator, I think.
it
Yeah.
was the elevator. Yeah. So the Ravens hid that footage. Goodell, it was reported that he hid the footage because Ray Rice was a star back then, and he didn't want
No.
this coming out. And so I basically said I was like Roger Goodell was a douche for hiding this video. And so Charlie Campbell, who's the best in the business at reporting the draft, he kept applying for combine credentials. You would never get them, and they would tell him, "Oh, you don't cover a specific team, so we can't let you in," which is bogus because other sites that cover specific don't cover specific
Yeah.
teams have been allowed in, and like
Now you're about other sites that don't cover, or
Yeah.
other people who worked for sites, because there's a difference.
Yeah, other people who work for site. Yeah. So and this is a spanned like 3 years where like Charlie kept getting rejected from the combine. And like he would even like look at these other sites, other people from these sites who would get in, and these websites would have far less traffic than us. It's not like it's like we're a small thing or anything. So Charlie knows someone in the league office, and so Charlie asked the person, and he's like, let me ask around. And so that person came back to Charlie and said, you're never going into the combine because Roger Goodell's mad that Walt called him a douche.
Oh,
so that is why we can't ever go to the
thick
combine.
skin Roger.
Yeah.
I bet he takes 2 or 3 change of underwear with him to work every day.
Maybe. Yeah, it sounds like it.
Whoops! I just got banned.
Right.
I didn't call him a douche. I called him a 2 underwear guy.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that he knew that. It's something I wrote on the site once. I don't know how he saw it.
Maybe he follows it because he likes your information.
Maybe he just thinks the site is angry at me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
we don't like him, and he's not going to be allowed in there, but we like his information.
Right.
Well, except when he calls me a douche.
Right. Yeah.
Actually, you should have said that it was a typo. It wasn't meant to be douche. It was meant to be deuce.
A deuce. He's a deuce. Yeah.
DEUCE. Slight difference.
Well, that could be poop. So it could be worse.
As in the Jets drop a deuce on the 50-yard line every game.
Yeah, he's a Jet. We could just call him a Jet. We're probably not going to get.
I think he was a ball boy for the Jets when he was a kid.
Was he? I didn't know that.
His father was a senator from New York.
I knew that.
I actually have a campaign button. They used to give those out years ago. Campaign for Senator Goodell.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
He was if I recall, he was I think a liberal Republican, if I remember.
Okay, a liberal Republican.
That's what it was back in those days.
Okay.
This is pre-Reagan.
Okay.
It's like the 1960s and 70s.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
It's like Rockefeller, same way. Governor Rockefeller.
Okay, I'm trying to picture what that would be now. Yeah, it's strange. Anyway, so we're not going to be at the combine anytime soon. But you know what? It doesn't matter because Charlie, when he goes to the Indianapolis, he doesn't actually go in the building. We can't. What he does is he knows where all the coaches and all the scouts and all the front office people go drinking afterward.
There you go.
Right. So he goes there. He'll buy drinks for people. They'll start talking as people want to do when they're inebriated.
When they're liquored up.
He gets and he gets the best intel. Like he
gets information that he wouldn't get if he got inside the doors and everybody was sober.
Yeah, and we nail the draft props every year because that we had Bijan Robinson to the Falcons at like 16-1 or Gibbs to the Lions. We had Hendon Hooker to the Lions. We had we had a bunch of stuff that he just gets because he talks. St. Brown's a 4th round pick, so it's kind of there aren't any props for that anyway. But so he just gets all the info, and he even emailed me. He forwarded me an email contact or exchange he had with an NFL GM, and this NFL GM emailed him first and said, "What do you think about the tackles in this draft?" And I'm like, wow, this NFL GM is actually asking Charlie about his opinion. So That's like how highly regarded he is around the league. So
Yeah,
it's been a blessing to work with him, and it's so cool that he can just circumvent the Goodell ban that we have from the combine, because it can't ban us from the bars near the combine. So
that's true.
at least not yet. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
you can talk to the bar owner, I guess, if
yeah.
he's listening.
He,
So
he could he could ban anybody who attends that bar
right.
from being inside. Yeah.
Exactly. By the way, Joe Card played against the Bills. Okay, so you won't be in India anytime soon. I wonder if the ban
Oh, he did
stands
play.
after he
Okay, yeah.
retires. I imagine that the next GM would, I guess, commissioner would be more lenient, but still, like, I don't know if there's a benefit to going inside the building, because
Well, also, I don't know what is gained because you called him a douche. You're spreading
right.
news about the NFL. People listen to you. That's got to be a positive thing. The more
Yeah.
exposure the NFL gets, the better it is for the league.
It's
It's
a saying.
stupid.
What's that saying? No, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
And you don't give them bad publicity. You give them good publicity. Well, I mean,
Right.
you give them, you praise the league for certain things and you criticize them for others, just like every reporter.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I've said Goodell has done good things.
Yeah.
He's done bad things. He's done good things. So
Yeah.
there's some hits and some misses. So yeah, but I was saying that, like, I don't think there's a purpose really to go inside the building, because it's just press conferences, and it's all the same questions every time. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, who'd you talk to? How do you feel about your 40 time? Like, it's there's really no purposes, and they broadcast these press conferences anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't think there's no gain that you get from going inside the building. It's like much more valuable to talk to the personnel people in the bars afterward. So
Yeah, in the informal settings.
yeah, exactly.
Sure.
That's where you get all your info. So anyway, let's get to the Sunday night game. We have Chargers at the Patriots. This line was 3 to open. It was also 3 on the advanced line, and now it's 3.5. So it's kind of interesting. Drake May is the third quarterback who is making his first playoff start.
Yeah, I'm showing a solid 3.5 across the board here, unlike some of these other games.
Right. Yeah. So we're seeing the same numbers. I think the Patriots win this game by 3. I think that's where I'm leaning. I think this game will be decided by 3. The Chargers, they have some severe issues at tackle. And I think I forget who said it, but they kind of handpicked this matchup. They lost on purpose. They sat their starters because they knew they're going to play the Patriots, because the Jaguars would have been a nightmare matchup for them because the edge rush the Jaguars have.
Yeah, they've already been whipped by them.
Right, exactly. But the Patriots have like an average pass rush. It's not a bad pass rush.
Yeah.
But I think they're like 12th in quarterback pressure. So this is way more manageable than the Jaguars game would have been. Also, the Patriots, this is not a slight against them, but they've had a very easy schedule. And I say it's not a slight because they've demolished their competition. So I like, unlike Denver, I think they're way more legitimate than a Denver team. Like I could see the Patriots winning the Super Bowl. Like I don't think Denver will, for example. So I think their wins are more meaningful. But if you look at how they played against good or great teams this year, seeing like 3 teams that they played against who are Group A or Group B. They beat the Bills by 3.
They're 1-2. They should have beaten Pittsburgh. They outplayed them.
I included Baltimore in that, not Pittsburgh. Just because
I go by records as far as classifying it.
Okay. Well,
overall.
it's okay. As far as what I have,
see, I mean, and the difference is yours is subjective.
Yeah.
To a great, as opposed to mine is whatever the numbers say, that's where I group them, and you can always excuse or explain away, any things that, but the old, but you can always explain anything away. I just let the numbers do the talking, and then it's how for me to interpret them. But yeah,
it's fair. But anyway,
point is they did play many games against the better teams in the league.
Yeah. So in the 3 games I have against Group A and Group B teams, they beat the Bills by 3, they lost to the Bills by 4, and they beat the Ravens by 4. So we have +3, -4, and +4.
Which basically is a 3 or 4 point game against that type of team. And you'd certainly put the Chargers, I think. You'd probably put them closer to Baltimore than you would put them to Buffalo.
Yeah, I think Ravens Chargers are pretty even. Yeah. So this says Patriots by 3 or 4. Now it was a comeback. The Ravens were up. So, but that's why I said I think the Patriots win by 3 here. And also, you get to by taking the plus 3.5, you get to fade the quarterback making his first start. Which you kind of wonder like, oh, who are these quarterbacks making the first start? Like Drake May is incredible. Like maybe he'll have more success against them than the other quarterbacks. But in that list, you had like some of the quarterbacks who did not cover include Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes did.
That's a pretty impressive roster.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes did, but that's like the one guy I see who's like a really good quarterback who did cover. But yeah, a lot of these Matt Ryan did not cover, Aaron Rodgers did not cover. Yeah, so as great as Drake May might be, it doesn't mean he's going to cover, but he could win. As far as home favorites in this dynamic, home favorites are they're 6-16 against the spread, but 9-13 straight up. So this says that's for
the rookie quarterback.
First time quarterback playoff starter. Yeah.
Well, not rookie, first time play. Yeah. So what'd you say? 6-16 straight up against the spread.
6-16 against the spread. 9-13 straight up.
Okay.
Yeah. So that says like better chance of winning but not covering, which I think that's what it says. Like this were -3.
No, you say they have a better chance of covering than winning. 6-16 against the spread versus was it 3?
9-13 straight up.
9. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Then so it's the other way. Yeah, 9-13 is better than 6-16. Yeah.
Yeah. So it says that this everything to me says Patriots win this by a field goal. So I'm taking the plus 3.5 for kind of like a medium sized play. What do you think about this game?
Let's see. I use my mathematical numbers. If you win, teams that are how they finish the season, or at any point during the season, because I do this every week. Teams that are more than 2 games above 500 are A teams. Teams that are within 2 games of 500 are B teams, and teams that are more than 2 games below 500 are C teams. Against the C teams, we'll go in reverse.
Okay.
The Chargers are 6-2 straight up, 4-4 against the spread. These are against the bad teams. Patriots 9-1 straight up, 8-2 against the spread. Against B teams, of which there are relatively few this year, because it would take 9-8 or 8-9. I guess the Packers would be a B team because they're 9-7-1, which is within 2 games. Chargers are 2-1 straight up and against the spread. The Patriots are 4-0 straight up, 3-1 against the spread. So already, what I say, 4-0. So they are 4-0, 13-1 against B and C teams.
Okay.
Against the A teams, the Chargers 3-3 straight up and against the spread. So they've played twice as many. Patriots are 1-2 straight up and against the spread. And interesting, the Chargers, and this might be this also supports what I like for the total. The Chargers against those top quality teams 0-6 over under.
Okay.
Six unders. Patriots 1-2 to the under. So it's clear that the Patriots have had a great deal of their success because of the greater number of games that they played against the weaker teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think actually that the Chargers could win this game. I wouldn't be shocked. And they've had those offensive line issues all season, and they've managed to overcome them. Again, they rested everybody last week, but what were they? I think they were 11-6 this year, which is, I think, about the same that they were last year. Their average win was by 10.1 points. Their average loss, however, by 13.8, and a lot of that was the Jacksonville and the, to a lesser extent, the Denver loss. Not the Denver loss, the I forget what the other loss was. They had another. The game at the end of the season contributed to that bigger margin as far as their losses go. Let's see. When I take a look, again, I'll go to those records against teams against everybody else. The Chargers actually, they only had 11 wins against teams that are 79-96, so that's -17. The Patriots, who had 3 more wins, 14 wins, those games against teams that were 88 and 136, which is minus 48 games below 500 that the Patriots beat, which you would expect if you're 14-3. Interestingly, the games that the Chargers lost, their 6 losses came to teams that were 50 and 46, so a winning record. Patriots 3 losses, teams were 22 and 26. Again, a small sample, but it does illustrate the fact that the Patriots played a very weak schedule. To their credit, they took advantage of that schedule. As far as let me see my numbers actually, because the Chargers don't rank very high in a lot of the metrics, and a lot of it has to do basically with those losses to the Broncos at the end of the year, and that was only 16 points, and that whooping they took in Jacksonville, because I think they were only plus 28 in their scoring margin, which is very low for a team that won 11 games. In fact, let me see here. The Chargers' average win, I said, was by 10.1 points per game. Average loss was by 13.5. So when they lost by larger margins. And I think that I do have New England as a very slight favorite in this game. What I like about the actually both teams have good defenses. Both teams measured both in terms of yardage and points. The running game, the Patriots are the much balanced of the two. 129 rushing yards, that's number 5. 250 passing yards, that's 4. They're much better than the Chargers, who are 12th and 18th in rushing and passing, so basically right around average. But again, it's the experience edge. Not that the Chargers' edge is all that much experience, but they do have experience. I think, and I'm not going to say that Harbaugh is the better coach, but he's the more proven coach.
Right.
Okay, which I think counts for something. You do mention the Drake May situation with being a first-time starter. Herbert, look, the Chargers have not had great results. I think you go back to the game last year where they did not play well, and then the time before, I think that was the time when was that Jacksonville who beat them a few years ago, or Baltimore? No, it was in Baltimore, I think it was.
No, they were up 27-0 against Jacksonville, and Jacksonville ended up winning.
Oh, it's 29-0. Yeah, that was a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was 29-0, but yeah, I remember that one. So, but that was pre-Harbaugh.
Right.
Yeah. Who'd they lose to last year?
Houston.
Yeah, and Houston was that a close game? I don't remember.
No, Houston blew them out.
Yeah. So that's again, you talk about motivation. Coach's motivation, I think, might come into play there. But again, it's not anything to do with the Patriots. Just that Harbaugh didn't like being embarrassed. So, don't know if I'd make a money line play on it, but I am on the plus 3.5.
Okay, I do like that the Chargers rested the starters last week. They did not do that last year. They were locked into the sixth seed, I believe, and they played their starters against the Raiders. They won 34-20. But they just seemed exhausted the next week, and they got blown out against Houston. So maybe Jim Harbaugh learned
last year. Well, but I also want to go back and take a look, because this is something that you don't hear talked about very often. Chargers had a very early season bye last week. They had their bye in week 5.
Yeah, so the Eagles. So
they've been playing every week since then, including the wild card round.
Yeah, the Eagles did too. The Eagles did as well.
But they rested their players.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The Lions.
And they did not have the bye because the Eagles were the number 2 seed.
2 seed. Yeah. The Lions complained about that. They when the schedule came out, they had the week 5 bye, and I know they were very angry about it, and they had a complaint to the league office about it.
It's a legitimate complaint. I mean, you know what? And in fact, maybe what they ought to do, and I don't know that they would, but maybe you do something like the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Like the worst team, the Raiders, get to choose what week they want to have their bye.
Yeah. Or you can just make it all sensible. You can. Yeah. Didn't you say that like you could have every team from a division have a bye?
Yeah, I definitely. I think every team from a division should have the same bye week, because when it comes down to the end of the year, especially since the final game of the season is always now, and this is a good thing Goodell did, is a divisional games. I would actually like to see. Well, we've had a couple of teams I think who played. We've had teams that look. The Chargers started the season with 3 divisional games, weeks 1, 2, and 3, and we've had situations where teams played. division games 3 weeks out of 4, something like that, to end the season. So yeah, so I'd like to see. So because you very often have now, I think we only had it in 3 situations this year where a division title was decided in the final week: the AFC North, the NFC South, and the NFC West.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think all the other 5 divisions, I think first place was clinched before that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you have a division title on the line, even let's say week 17 and 18, I think it's only fair I would say, I'll say only fair to have all 4 teams have the same length of time between their bye week and when their division title is being decided. Whether you have a bye week in week 5 or week 13, all 4 teams have the same bye week.
Yeah.
And by the way, I would not mind if the last 3 games of the season, week 16, 17, and 18, are all divisional rematches.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
And by the way, you can do that each year by saying, okay, let's say the Cowboys and the Giants play their 2 of their final 3 games at home against the division rivals. The next year, it's the Eagles and the Commanders who play their final 2 games at home.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that on a yearly basis, and I think that would be fair. And again, that would also allow them, as we talked about, to do away with the Thursday night games 4 days after playing on a Sunday.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, it just makes too much sense for the NFL to do it. Unfortunately, Dom asking, will the weather be a possible factor? I'm seeing 36 degrees and chance of rain. So
are you talking about the Steelers, or are you talking about the games Patriots in Chicago and the Patriots? Yeah.
The Patriots. So Chicago's chance of snow.
Even the Eagles for a little bit. Even the Eagles could be affected.
Yeah, slight chance of rain for the Eagles. 45 degrees though, so the temperature is fine. Chicago's chance of snow and heavy winds. So we'll see if that persists. And
Panthers and Jaguars should not be affected, other than just regular bad weather. But temperature shouldn't be a problem for those 2 cities.
Yeah, I don't think so. So, that doesn't look like anything's too bad, except for maybe the wind in the Chicago Green Bay game. Yeah, but we'll see. That could easily change as we get closer to kickoff. Anyway, let's get to the final game. Texans at the Steelers Monday night. Texans are favored by 3. Obviously,
I think that opened 3.5 in a lot of places.
Yeah, it did, and it went down to 3. Mike Tomlin just has an amazing track record. As a home underdog or an underdog in general. He's now
you're talking about at home or in the playoffs.
Well, I'll give you both. So Tomlin as an underdog, period, is 68-39 against the spread.
Right.
As a home underdog,
that's home and road, playoff and regular season.
Yes. And then as a home underdog, he is 10-2 against the spread overall.
What is his record on Monday nights? I think that's pretty close to that same record.
It's pretty good. Steelers are 15-6 against the spread on Monday Night Football in the past 20
favorite and underdog.
Yeah.
But it's usually pretty bad as a favorite.
If they're road favorites, yes. Home favorites not too bad, but if home underdog is
now. What's his record in the? Well, let me see. I can call that up in the playoffs because I've got that data.
What are you looking for?
Pittsburgh's record as a home dog in the playoffs, or at home at all, or overall in the playoffs.
Overall in the playoffs, I have 7-11 against the spread overall in the playoffs. But if they are underdogs, I have them at 2-5 against the spread. But I think a lot of those were on the road. Every single one of those is on the road, except for the first one, which was 2007, which was a push against Jacksonville. They were 2-point dogs. They lost by 2. Every other instance has been away or neutral being the Super Bowl against the Steelers.
Okay, well, his first year was 2007, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm showing 3-1, 5-1, 5-4, 6-4, 7-4, 8-4, 8-10-1. What numbers did you come up with?
7-11.
Okay, I'm showing maybe one extra game here. But take a look at his record in the playoffs. The last 6 playoff games
Okay.
in which he was favored twice and underdogs 4 times.
Mhm.
The underdog role was all on the road. The 2 times he was favored were both at home.
Yeah, he was
Look at
never a
those.
home dog. Yeah, he was never a home dog.
No,
Yeah.
not in the last 6 years. But look at his
Right.
playoff record, straight up and against the spread, his last 6 years.
Yeah, some really good teams here. So the Ravens, the Ravens were great last year. The year before the Bills were great that year. The Chiefs, he played Mahomes the year the
Yeah.
Chiefs won the Super Bowl. Now he did lose to the Browns at home as a favorite, and he lost
No,
to the Jaguars at home as a
I'm
favorite.
saying that they even against as the underdog, they were 12-point dogs against Kansas City on the road and 10-point dogs on the road of Buffalo. But he is 0-6 straight up and against the spread his last 6 playoff games.
Yeah, it's worth noting the 4 underdog games were against Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Tom Brady. So
Yeah.
he's not facing
Yeah,
any of those.
but
that caliber this
what
year.
were the defenses he was facing of those
I
6
mean,
teams?
I think that those Chiefs defenses were good. The Patriots, obviously, with Belichick, were good.
I don't know if they're as good as this year's Houston defense.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, that could be true. Yeah, it could be true. It could be the toughest defensive matchup, but CJ Stroud
And in fact,
is nowhere near
going
the
back to
quarterbacks.
2010,
Hmm.
because they had won 8 out of 9 straight up between 2005 and the 2010 Super Bowl. So starting in 2000, no, the conference championship, because they lost the Super Bowl. They are 3. They are let's see, 1, 2. They are 3-9, 3-10 straight up, and 3-9-1 against the spread since 2010 Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, just
because remember those years it started under Cowher, but a lot of his early season success was in the 2-3 years after he replaced Cowher.
Right.
Cowher last coached 2006.
Yeah.
So in his only playoff appearance in 2007, he lost but covered. Then he lost 5 straight. No, I'm sorry. Then they won under Tomlin 5 straight playoff games. What is it? It's 4-1 against the spread in those games.
Yeah.
So his recent playoff success, albeit more often than not as a favorite, has not been very good. His 4 underdog situations since 2016, 1-3 straight up as a dog, and it looks like 1-3 as a against the spread, and I think they were all on the road. I do not show him as a home underdog at any time. Oh no, back in 2007, his first playoff game against Jacksonville. Steelers were number 4 seed, Jags were number 5 seed. Jags were favored by 3, and they won by 2.
Yes.
So the Steelers did cover in their one home underdog role in the postseason.
Right. So yeah, they haven't been in this situation very often.
Yeah.
And some of the recent losses, their 2 most recent playoff losses were with Russell Wilson, decrepit Russell Wilson, and Mason Rudolph. Not that Aaron Rodgers is an amazing quarterback, but still. But so he's Rodgers is certainly better than those 2 guys. So.
Well, I don't know. Russell Wilson's at the end of his career too. So
he was long gone.
So in other words, it's not a fair comparison to compare Aaron Rodgers today with Russell Wilson in his prime, because Russell Wilson was far past his prime.
Yes, exactly. So
now in his prime, maybe Aaron Rodgers today is equivalent to Russell Wilson in his prime. But Russell Wilson was a pretty good quarterback, in Seattle for those prime years, Super Bowls and all that. But certainly, I would give the edge today to Rodgers over Russell Wilson, who played for the Steelers last year.
Yeah. Yeah, that Steeler offense was so dreadful last year. It was
Yeah.
so painful to watch. And yeah, they were playing a far better opponent than this Houston team. I know that. Well, Baltimore's
Yeah.
defense was really good last year,
Houston has
but yeah,
played
like you
better
said,
offensively. Houston has played better, or has played better recently, offensively.
yeah, I mean, yeah, they've been on a long winning streak here, and that's definitely fair.
And
Uh,
I think they've beaten some good teams in that winning streak.
yeah, they have. You know, they beat Buffalo, although albeit at home, but still. Um, But something I just like, it really bothers me, and it's kind of like the opposite of what Stu was saying. He says, "Don't you see the Steelers scoring much here, other than some field goals? Texans 4-man pass rush is relentless." And that's
Now, and by
absolutely.
the way, is that 2 or 3 field goals, or 2 of 3 field goals?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I
I think he meant 2 or
probably
3, but yeah.
yeah, the two. But yeah, I mean, Boswell, he did have that miss recently. Anyway, I did. Slew is correct, obviously, but Pittsburgh's pass rush with TJ Watt is great as well. He came
Yeah.
back last week. He didn't play every snap like he usually does, but he did look good, I thought, and he's going to be healthier this week. I suspect he's going to play his usual complement of snaps. So you have like TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, like these, and Cameron Hayward. Like these guys get after the quarterback really well too. And I don't trust Houston's offensive line either. I think that they have been playing better in the second half of the year, but it's still like there's a
Well,
big difference.
here's who
Yeah.
Houston has won those 9 games. Interestingly enough, they lost 18-15 to the Broncos, and the following week, November
Mhm.
9th, was when they were down 29-10 to the Jaguars in the fourth quarter and
Yep.
came back to win. So they beat the Jaguars by 7. Then they had a close call winning by 3 at Tennessee. They beat the Bills. I think that was that Thursday night game, 23-19. They won at Indianapolis 20-16. They won at Kansas City 20-10. They beat the Cardinals by 20. They beat the Raiders by 2, and they beat the Chargers by 4. And then they ate against the Colts last week. So they beat some decent teams, some playoff teams during that stretch.
Mhm.
Again, let's see what they've scored their last. And of course, some of it is special teams, whatever. 38, 20, 23, 40, 20, 20, 23, 16. What did I hear that they are unbeaten when they scored at least 20 points
Oh, okay.
this year?
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense given how great their defense
Yeah,
is.
well, that's it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
can they hold Pittsburgh? Can they score 20 against Pittsburgh?
I don't know. Maybe.
I'm just curious. Let me see what my model has this game at, which takes into a look game again, the quality of competition. So let me see if I can find where that is here.
Okay. Well,
I have Houston winning 22-19, which sounds like a reasonable score.
okay. So not a cover. So push here.
No, it's a push actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. I 3.5. I thought was a lot better for me. The Steelers. I like the Steelers here. I don't love it, but I do like it. I think that they will keep this game close. I don't trust C.J. Stroud. I don't trust the Houston's offensive line. Now I don't trust Pittsburgh's offensive line versus the rush. As Sue was saying, Steelers rush is good. Texans lead.
Yeah.
I think Steelers rush is great, but yeah, Texans is better. But I do trust Aaron Rodgers more in the pressure situation than I do CJ Stroud. So that to me is a key factor as well.
The only thing, keep in mind, by the way, for whatever it's worth, even though they were at home, Houston's won their first playoff games the last 2 years, including with a first-time starter.
At home, though,
Stroud.
they beat.
Even so, they still won. You had a first-year coach and a first-year, and they were also underdogs in that game because Cleveland had a better record, yet was favored at Houston because of.
Was the Flacco Browns?
Well, yeah, it was because Houston won the South,
Mhm.
so Houston knows how to win their first playoff game.
Yeah, I do think there's a difference between being in the comfortable Houston Dome and traveling and playing in the cold weather in the first game. I do think there's something there as well.
No, I think that's just an explanation, which we do not know if it's true or not.
Well, I mean,
look, these teams play in cold weather during November and December, and we've already seen them win the games. Houston won a couple of those cold weather games.
Yeah, but I do think that. I do think it's an advantage for Houston to play.
And Pittsburgh's not a very good team.
Yeah, I mean they're okay. I think they're an average team.
Well,
I think
Houston's the better team.
I think Houston is the better team. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
By the way,
I
just looking at the sack numbers are identical. They both average offensively being sacked 1.82 times per game, and they're almost identical. I think they're probably off by one sack. Houston defensively 2.76 sacks administered per game. Pittsburgh 2.82. That difference suggests it's one more sack.
okay. Yeah.
Over the course of the season, not in the aggregate, not per game, obviously, as just mentioned it. So, yeah, Houston. Let me just see another one I like to take a look at the average yards lost per sack, and as you might actually you could be surprised. Stroud. I don't know if it's all Stroud or all Rodgers, but there are enough sacks in there. Houston loses an average of 8.03 yards when they're sacked. Pittsburgh just 6.19. But the numbers are somewhat reversed on the defensive end. Houston sacks create losses of 7.79 yards per sack for the opposition. Pittsburgh 6.06. So when you factor in the yards lost due to the sacks, Houston is worse when their quarterback is sacked, but Houston is better when they sack the opposing quarterback, and the difference between the two numbers is about the same.
Yeah.
No great edge there.
Yeah. Sue says Pittsburgh's offense is garbage. Well, they had some really good games.
Well, they will have Metcalf back.
Right. They had some really good games with Metcalf. The game against Pittsburgh, where they granted Baltimore got robbed of a touchdown, but their offense was really good in that game. And then against Detroit,
Metcalf is going to be looking to avoid any Texans fan in the stands.
I hope so.
And maybe he'll be distracted in doing so.
Yeah,
I would have caught the pass, but I saw this guy giving me the finger, and he was wearing a Houston, jersey.
Oh my God! The fans are going to be yelling stuff at him.
Well, it's
they're at home.
Pittsburgh.
They're at home.
It's
they're at
Pittsburgh,
home.
yeah.
Right,
So
right,
I mean,
right.
yes.
Next round. If they win, next round.
Yeah.
So they had a great offensive performance against Detroit. Granted, Detroit's defense far worse, but still.
Yeah.
I think with Metcalf they are different. And I think that the way they've gotten Kenneth Gainwell involved more recently, I think that there's something there as well. And Houston, as great as their defense is, the one flaw you could say is that they don't defend tight ends all that well. And Pittsburgh uses like a million tight ends. So I don't think like Pittsburgh is going to be scoreless or anything. I think this will be a 3-point game that can go either way.
I think Houston will be. Houston knows that the tendency about tight ends on Pittsburgh, so they'll pay a little bit of attention. Of course, but that may also open things up for Metcalf.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Or Metcalf will open up things for the tight ends, or Gainwell. So yeah, I think this will be a 3-point game either way. So with Pittsburgh, we're getting the win or the push. So I like the +3. Obviously, wish this is still +3.5, but
this is one I've not made my mind up yet on.
Okay. So are you leaning one way or another yet, or?
I have to respect Pittsburgh playing at home, but I think Houston has played the better teams, the better season. I like the fact that they know they can win on the road. Now this is their first playoff game on the road, but hey, rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback, despite playing at home, they still won their first games, and they followed it up with a win last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they're playing with confidence, and Pittsburgh, is playing with the knowledge that they've lost 6 straight playoff games.
That's true. None without Rodgers, but it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but so you wonder how good was Rodgers last week? He was really good in the fourth quarter, but what about the first 3?
Yeah, he got better when Kyle Hamilton got hurt. I'll say that much.
You get a player of Hamilton's ability to go out for the Texans. That probably happens also.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. I don't know. There's something about Pittsburgh being at home as home underdogs. Like there's something that always happens. Like weird things happen. They find ways to win even though they don't look like the better team. And I just don't trust CJ Stroud against a great pass rush. I just don't. So that's why I'm leaning toward Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but you got Rodgers going also up against a great pass rush.
Right, but I trust.
He's a little slower, and he'll run out of bounds.
Yeah, no, it's well,
he was a wuss last week. I forget the one play where he started to run, and then he ran directly out of bounds, and he probably could have made the first down.
Yeah, I still, even considering that, I do trust him more with his experience over Stroud in these pressure situations. So,
When was the last time Rodgers was in a playoff game?
it was
22.
the this final year with the Packers, right? Oh no, they lost to the Lions that year in the finale, which I
Yeah,
guess you could
that's right.
say
Yeah.
was a playoff game of sorts.
So it would have been 21.
Yeah, 2021. Yeah,
22 was the Lions game. 23 and 24 was with the Jets, sitting out the 23 season. So he's not played in a playoff game.
Yeah, they
since his ability has noticeably declined.
Yeah, they lost to the Niners in that playoff game in 2021.
Yeah.
So 10-3 was 13-10. 13-10 was the score in that game.
Well, he didn't do that much then.
No
that game. So
no, he did not.
No. So I just wonder how rusty he might be in this situation.
Yeah,
Stroud's going to take the field knowing, hey, we have the confidence to win this game.
Yeah, it's true. 13-10, by the way, would push this game. Just saying.
What's that?
13-10 would get the push here.
Oh, this game, yeah.
Right.
Pittsburgh has the better rushing offense. That's almost offset exactly by Pittsburgh with Houston having the better rushing defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yards per play, Pittsburgh averages yards per completion. Pittsburgh they are second, third, fourth worst in the league, 9.95 yards per completion. Houston's almost a full yard better than that at 10.87. Yards per completion allowed, Pittsburgh 11.2. Houston 10.9, not much of a difference. Yards per play, slight edge for Pittsburgh 0.1, a little bit of a bigger edge, about 0.5 for Houston defensively. Rush pass ratio, Houston rushes the ball about 2% of the time more than Pittsburgh. Opponents about the same. They rush about 42% against the Houston and Pittsburgh defenses. Turnovers lost, they're both very good. Turnovers recovered, they're both very good. The numbers are fairly even there. So all more and more, it sounds like plus 3.5 is a good number.
Yeah,
because these games are close.
Yeah, I mean,
what kind of years Fairburn had as the kicker, or not Fairburn? Who's the
Kyrie Fairburn? It's Texans kicker. You're asking?
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I always get him confused with Jacksonville for some reason.
Cam Little, the Jacksonville kicker. Yeah.
Let me see.
He's 44-48. There's a lot of attempts.
That's the offense. Not being able to catch in.
Yeah, right. They just all in the red zone.
Fairburn is. Let's see here. That's kickoffs I'm looking at. 44, 48, and 28 for 28 on extra points. Longest 57. And they don't show me the breakdown there. And of course, we know Boswell is a pretty good kicker. Although I think this was a down year for him, wasn't it?
I know he missed in Cleveland, but he usually that's like the one stadium in which he doesn't kick well. This year, 27-32, not great, but not terrible. He missed against the Browns. He missed once against the Chargers.
He did have a 60-yarder and 42. Now 42 for 43 and extra points is pretty good. That's a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this: if you're talking about kickers, you have to favor Boswell in the stadium because he knows the stadium.
Yeah, that's a weird stadium. Why that would be so different than other stadiums? You know what it is? I figured out what it is. Radiation from 3 Mile Island.
That's it.
It's like 40 years ago. But those half-lives of uranium, last like tens of thousands of years.
Yeah, I guess you figured it out. I don't know why Boswell is good with the radiation, but apparently he is. So.
Maybe that's why they're so good on Monday night. There's they're used to the different color tint that comes from the light.
It's true. So it'll help him here. So you said you were leaning the series?
I was leaning. I was sort of leaning Houston, but at 3.5. I don't know if I would play the game, but at 3.5, I probably would have to play Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, last week I liked the Ravens initially, and I think even when we did the show, I was already on Pittsburgh.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was knowing that Lamar Jackson was almost certain to play.
Mm-hmm.
I had no opinion on that game.
And that was the game, by the way, that Derrick Henry came off those 36 carries for 216.
Yeah. He had great first half.
Yeah.
Great first half. He didn't do anything in the second half. So
didn't need to.
Well, no, in the second half against Pittsburgh, he did.
No, I'm talking about the previous game against Green Bay.
Oh yeah. He didn't. Yeah, right. He didn't need to.
No, and maybe again we'll go back to what was talked about at the very beginning about maybe that's part of the reason why Harbaugh was let go, because he wouldn't get rid of the offensive coordinator who forgot that Derrick Henry is academically eligible to play fourth quarters in the NFL.
Yeah, that blown lead against the Patriots decided the whole playoffs.
Them,
so that's a huge mistake that they just.
And I had the Ravens in that game, and it was looking good for 56 minutes or whatever it was.
It was, yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
Luke says, "Good day."
But by the way, that's another reason I think why Harbaugh was let go. He had a history in recent years of blowing big leads.
That's true. Yeah. Luke says, "Good day." I went with Houston money line and Pittsburgh plus 17.5. Should be close. So added either team 1-7. It should be a close and low scoring game. It's a lot of bets here. Houston money line plus.
And either team, and winning by 1 to 7 points.
Yeah.
What's the money? What was the money line on Pittsburgh plus 17.5?
Yeah, I'd like to know what the vig on that was as well.
Let me see if I've got alternate point spreads here somewhere, but I don't know if they go that high. Because this is Las Vegas. They don't get into that kind of stuff until they get deep into the playoffs. Okay, alternate point spreads.
Yeah, I might have it here as well.
They have the Texans, the Steelers plus 7.5 is minus 250. Texans minus 7.5 is plus 200.
Mm-hmm. I have it
plus 17.5.
Yeah,
he's got to lay a huge amount for Pittsburgh plus 17.5.
I have it. Do you want to guess what it is?
Minus 650.
It's minus 1,400.
Okay, I was being conservative.
Yeah,
but yeah,
maybe you got a good number somewhere. I don't know.
1,300 would be a good number.
Yeah, two bets. Minus one. Yeah, minus 104 for the first.
For the money line, Houston. Yeah, that makes. Yeah. Well, that's still a very good number.
Oh yeah, for minus, maybe you got to boost
minus line for a 3.5 point favorite, 3 point favorite.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Maybe you got to boost it or something. Or I don't know. Luke, I believe he's from Australia, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe different sports books. Maybe
although it's not. So it's not good day. It's good night.
Right.
Or in your case, good morning.
Yeah. What is it in Australia? Is it like 2 p.m. or something?
Australia must be. I'd say probably 3 to 5.
That's 5. That's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock right now. PM.
PM. Well, yeah. Well, that's right. Yeah. I got a friend in Japan right now, and I think they're 12 hours ahead of us. Mm-hmm. Means they're about 10 a.m.
Okay. Yeah. So okay. First bet's a parlay, so it's minus 104. Oh, okay. So so it's a parlay.
Okay.
It's a parlay.
So minus 104. Yeah, but still minus 104 tied to minus 40. You're not going to win much on that 1,400. That's not going to add that much.
Right.
If you bet $100, maybe you win 107. There's 14 laying 1,400 probably contributes about $7 per 100.
Well, you know what's interesting is that so the Houston money line on FanDuel right now is minus 174. But if you parlay the Houston money line with Pittsburgh plus 17.5, it goes from minus 174 to minus 119. Isn't that weird?
You mean for the combination?
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Okay. So in other words,
I could pull it up. Let me pull it up. So yeah, just so everyone sees it.
What'd you say? Minus. Well, what's the minus? What'd you say? It was minus 1,400 and minus 104.
Yeah. Hold on. Why is it not loading? Come on.
Right, let me do something here. Hold on, because I think I can do something. I gotta.
Okay, so I'll do
on a $100 parlay.
I'm gonna put this in.
$100 parlay, 2 teams, minus 1.04 and minus 1,400. Correct?
Yeah.
Minus minus 14.0.
Yeah, I could see it on the screen.
It's showing to me minus 104 and minus 1,400. Looks like it's plus 110.
Well, no. It's minus. Sorry, it's minus 174. That's
You mean
yeah. The Houston money line's minus 174. So,
okay, yeah. Let me
so
okay, yeah. That may be right then. Hold on a second. Then so I'm going to do $100
yeah,
wager.
yeah.
Two
Do minus
teams, minus
minus 170.
1.74
Yeah,
and minus 1400
yeah.
or minus 14. Yeah, 0.68, 0.69 to 1,
Okay, yeah. So what's that?
which is you have to convert that around.
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way: you win a total of 68. You win a total of $68 on the $100 net profit of 68.
Okay.
So I don't have the conversion with me.
So what's that, like minus 150 ish?
Uh,
Even's.
no, it's probably a little bit less than that. What did you
Okay.
say it was? Minus 119.
Yeah, I have it on the screen right here. I have Houston money line minus 174 and Pittsburgh plus 17.5, which is minus 1400. It gets turned into minus 119
Yeah, but what is the amount you collect?
for $100 bet. You win $84.
Okay, yeah. See, I said you won $69.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Why is
Yeah,
that?
I don't
Because
know.
negative correlation, it screws up the
It's the
parlay.
same math. It's the same math.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to see where you see the 170. We said, oh, okay. Cash out is minus one. Oh, cash out.
No, not
That,
cash out.
no, I'm reading. That's the minus 119.
No, it's cash. It's cash out option. It'll let you cash out during the game. That's
No,
nothing.
yeah, that's right. So the minus 119 doesn't mean anything.
No, that's what it is. So look right here. I'm wagering $100 to win 84.30,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
minus 119.
Oh, okay, yeah, minus 119, yeah, 84.
It'd
Yeah,
be easier if it do this way.
$80 would be minus 120.
Yeah, 119
yeah,
to win 100.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
basically what we're looking at
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Oh, that was the wager was 119. Okay, I didn't have that. I had the wager at 100.
Oh, I could change it to 100. So 100 to 80 to 84.30.
Okay, and what was it just now when you had 119?
119 to win 100. Sorry, 119 to win 100.
Oh, okay.
So that's it's very strange that it would change.
I was looking at that 119, but yeah, I see where you're coming with that number.
I think the algorithm is getting fooled by negative correlation in the two bets.
What do you mean negative correlation?
Because you're betting Houston and you're betting Pittsburgh. Like if you were to bet like a quarterback over yards and a receiver under yards.
Yeah, but it's still math. It's still basic math.
I know, but they changed the.
Maybe they do things. Yeah, maybe they do things differently on some of those books.
Here, I'll show you a good example of this. So if you look at let's take Aaron Rodgers over 204 passing yards,
Okay.
and if you take Metcalf over 55 passing yards, it's minus 114 here and minus 114 that gives you plus 155 here, right?
Right, but
if you do
that's a correlation there.
That's correlation. But if you do negative correlation, do Aaron Rodgers under, you get plus 359.
And what if you did Aaron Rodgers over and CJ Stroud over, because those are also two different non-correlated wagers?
If you do over for both, it's plus 220.
Okay.
And if you do under, it's plus
yeah, which makes sense that it should be in between a fully correlated parlay and a what would you call the second one? A reverse correlation.
Yeah, negative correlation.
Yeah. Negative correlation, yeah.
Yeah. So here you do Aaron Rodgers over, Metcalf under, that's plus 358. You do both over at plus 155. So that's what I'm saying. Like maybe it's being fooled by thinking there's negative correlation between the two bets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there must be an adjustment there that they must factor something in, a penalty or a VIG for what they consider to be a correlation.
Yeah. Luke says, I know it looks weird, but I do this with games that I think will be low-scoring games that I predict should not be blowouts and where I want to remove the spread. That's pretty smart, actually. I like
good
that
technique. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, yeah, if you can get this sort of discount, I think it's definitely
Yeah.
worth looking at. So, yeah, Luke, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I mean, you're getting even better odds. You're getting minus 104. I'm
Yeah.
getting minus 118 here. So, that's pretty awesome. So, yeah, just you know, if you guys are doing this, to keep in mind the negative correlation, you get such better odds. If you think Rodgers is going to go over, but Metcalf is not going to have a good game, you get
Yeah.
such better odds. The 3.5 to
yeah.
1 instead of 1.5 to 1. So, yeah, definitely keep that in mind. Okay, so
Now I wonder what it would be with Rodgers over, say, 250 passing yards, and Gainwell over 50 rushing yards, because that would tend to be somewhat, not exactly, a negative correlation.
Okay, so both Rodgers over passing and Gainwell over rushing is plus 231. And if you're going to go Gainwell under, that's plus 220. So not much of a difference. Yeah, very
well, yeah,
difference.
because in theory, they're not really correlated, although. Well, because Rodgers is going over. Yeah, they can be, but remember, Gainwell's passing. Gainwell is not being. His reception yards don't count. It's only his rushing yards. So there's no correlation between player A's passing yards and player B's rushing yards, even though they play for the same team.
Yeah, there could be correlation in that, like the Steelers get the lead with Rodgers throwing well, and then because they have the lead, they could run in the second half.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think there's that much of a difference between that.
No, but I mean, you could make the you start playing the if game, you can do it everything. It's like if this quarterback has 36 attempts, his chances of going over 300 yards are greater than if he has 25 attempts.
Yeah, I do wonder if it's different with the opposing running back. So 241 and 212. Yeah, there's more of a difference here.
Well, those are totally non-car. Well, you could, well, again, it's a stretch, because you could say, well, if the quarterback of Team A passes for 300 yards, they're probably going to be scoring quickly, so the running back on Team B has a greater chance of going over his rushing yards because they're going to have more snaps.
Yeah,
that's a stretch, but I mean, it could be something like that.
Yeah, or it could be like Woody Marks has a good game because Houston's ahead, and because the Steelers are behind, Rodgers has to throw a lot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of odd that this would be 241 and the under this would be 212. I think that would be should be closer to even. I don't think there should be the disparity there. It's interesting. There is, but I mean they look. I mean they know the
bottom line is the bottom line can be summed up in one word: opportunities.
Yes, absolutely. And there are certainly a lot of them. Let's see. So
does Evan do those? Okay, I was going to say, does Evan do those kind of prop things? Maybe we can ask him there.
I know, and we do the ladders and stuff like that. So much smarter to do these at
no, but I mean those correlated or what reverse correlated parlays.
I don't know. I don't know if Evan does those because you have you such better odds on the negative correlation. But obviously they're less likely to hit. But Evan does not. He says nope.
You can only do so many different things.
Evan,
you do what works.
Evan, do you have any thoughts on this? Because we're just looking at this. I don't know if you saw it, but you have let me click back on it. You had Houston money line at minus 174, and then for alternate spread, the where is it?
Steelers plus 17.5.
Yeah, Steelers
1400.
Yeah, where'd it go? So all right, here it is. So Steelers plus 17.5 is minus 1400. So the minus 174 goes.
You go up one more, I think.
I have it.
I'm just showing 16.5 is the bottom number I'm showing.
I have right here. I have 17.5 right here.
Where I think Evans low the ribbon is showing on that. There we go.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Yeah, minus 1400. Okay, yeah.
So Evan's saying better idea would be Houston money line and a different dog at plus 17.5. The negative correlation same game does not make sense.
Yeah.
But his thinking here is that this can be a low scoring game and the game will be decided by Houston winning by 1 to 17.
See, the thing is, if you do the basic math on a traditional money line parlay, it does not come up to the number that you showed.
Yeah.
Because there's a correlation factor
Yeah.
is factored in there.
Yeah.
So instead of
Yeah.
so instead of paying, let's say plus one, plus 160, it might play plus 142 or something.
Yeah. So yeah, like if
I'm saying if the math says it, in other words, if you did the math of what's the parlay of a minus 1400 with a minus what did we say 174, that comes up I think to a different number.
what'd you say, Andy?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
mm,
no, that if you did the math as we did before, minus 174 with a minus 1400,
mhm.
okay, um, it came up with a different number. It came
I
up with a different number than when you plugged it in there.
I could just do a different minus
Yeah.
1400. Let's go to the San Francisco game. Let's find a minus 1400 and see what it gives us. Let's see, alternates spread.
There we go.
We need a minus 1400. We could do a minus 1200 here. Oh, here we go. Minus, and that's a plus 1400. Here we go. Plus, I think this is Eagles plus 8.5. So this goes to minus 146. So, which was, I think I was close to right. 100 winning 68. So yeah, that's minus 146 instead of minus 119.
Okay, what was it? Where did you get the 68?
$100 to win 68.72 at minus 146.
Minus 174 and minus 1400.
Yeah.
Right? $100 wins 68.72.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We're using the same numbers versus the one that, which is this is the number, the 68.72 is the number that I got.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you did it before with the same game, you got 84.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I called pro better that Andy and I know that whose name shall be remained, I think I know this, and presented that idea, he would hang up the phone. He says, go play Houston plus 3.5, Philly plus 7.5, and Rams money line.
Yeah, it works out about the same.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So, I wanted to ask you, how do you think the playoffs will unfold? Like, who do you have going to the Super Bowl, and who do you have winning?
Let me see here. I don't think I don't think I've actually gone that far to make that prediction. Maybe I'll do it at the end because I got several futures involved, etc. But I will tell you this, and I haven't done it yet, but I will probably do exactas of my 4 top-rated teams.
Okay.
I do a profile each year where I rank the teams in various, I think it's about 8 or 10 categories as far as the statistical numbers. I rank them down 1 through 14 for the Super Bowl and 1 through 7 for the various rounds, the wild card, the divisional, and the conference championship. And overall, the top 4 teams I have, probably, well, the NFC won't surprise. It's Seattle and the Rams. Okay. AFC did surprise me. Houston and Jacksonville.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Not Buffalo.
No, not Buffalo. Not Denver. So I was surprised.
Yeah. Denver, I think they could be the worst team in the AFC. That's
I don't know. I think they're probably better than Pittsburgh.
I actually said on yesterday's show that if someone asked, a commenter asked me, "What's your hot take?" and I said, I think if the Steelers go to Denver, I think they'll beat Denver. That was my hot take. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I said. I'm so down on Denver that I actually have them so close to each other in the power rankings. I think I have Denver 3 spots ahead of Pittsburgh.
I have Denver I have them 8 spots ahead, but the difference is less than a field goal.
Okay, interesting. So, yeah, I mean, look, anything can happen with these games.
Yeah. Well, let me see. If I were to make a line based upon home field, it'd be about a 7-point line because of Denver's huge home field advantage.
Wait, so how many points? You said they have them.
I would have Denver about 7.
No, I mean
at Denver. On neutral field, it'd be a little under a field goal.
No, sorry. How many points better is Denver than Pittsburgh in your rankings? What'd you say?
Oh, how many points or how many places?
How many points is Denver better? I'm just curious
Um,
what you give them for home field.
oh, I give them a 4.24.
Oh wow, okay, okay,
And again,
interesting.
my methodology again looks at largely division games and how teams perform in division games at home versus on the road. Because the quality of opposition, if you play Washington at home and you play Washington on the road, I mean, there's obviously going to be changes depending upon the year, but you're basically playing the same team. The injuries might be different, and sometimes a quarterback. But if you play, Kansas, let's say Kansas City, let's say you play Kansas City, Buffalo, and Baltimore at home, and you
Mm.
play, the Jets, the Raiders, and the Titans on the road, you're going to have a much stronger road advantage because the results are going to be much better on the road against those 3 weak teams than they are against those 3 teams at home. So when I
Right.
do my things, I filter out to a large extent, not totally, but I filter out the division versus non-division games, giving much more weight to the division games because you're basically playing a team with largely the same personnel twice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Injuries, of course, could be a factor, or you might catch Cincinnati with Burrow if you played them in week 3 or week 2, and Cincinnati without Burrow if you played them in week 9. But that tends to balance out over the 6 years that I look back at.
Right. Right.
Which is basically what you play 6 division games a year, so that's 36 games, 18 home and 18 road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like I said, I have a negative advantage for Seattle, minus 1.01. Because they, over the last few years, have played much better on the road against their division foes than they did at home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
they
same,
have.
I have same thing for Houston.
Okay.
Let me see. Tampa Bay's another one. The Giants are another one, although the Giants is minus 0.25. Houston is minus. Tampa Bay's minus 0.27. So the only really significant one on a positive side is Denver. I think the next highest home field I have is 3.85 for Pittsburgh,
Mm-hmm.
3.09 for Carolina. Oh, I'm sorry, 5.24 for Cleveland. For some reason, they play better on the division road than they play at home. They lose by
Yeah.
less. And then I think
And then
the
other things.
Jets are
Yeah.
another one that has a high home field advantage because they play better on the road where the fans aren't booing them than they do at MetLife.
That's yeah. When your fans could turn against you, that can be a problem. So, okay. So, we might have actually lines. Look ahead lines. I think they may have just posted this. No, never mind. That's the old look ahead set. Anyway, so oh no, those are the real look aheads. Hold on. We might have those numbers that were just posted. So, it's not here. It's in the other spots, which is interesting. Was there any look ahead you were looking? We were wondering
Well, it said
Buffalo, Denver.
Yeah, Buffalo, Denver, and Pittsburgh, Denver, I think.
Wow, Buffalo, Denver minus 1.5. Wow, I was way off.
What'd you say? 5 or 6?
5.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to see? Any requests?
Well, I don't know, just if you have the other games. Well, we don't know. There are so many combinations there.
Yeah, there are a lot of combinations.
Where's Jack? Okay, Green Bay at Seattle. Seattle 3.5.
Seattle's minus 3.5. Yeah.
Boy, that sounds very cheap.
Yeah, it does. The Green Bay Chicago. I think the Green Bay Chicago winner is going to get clobbered in round 2. Chargers Broncos. We have Denver minus 3.
Yeah, well, that's I think San Diego. The Chargers were minus 3 when they beat them in week 2. I think it was
week 3
or week 3. Yeah, whatever it was. So that's a 3-point game.
Eagles Bears. Eagles are minus 2.5 on the road.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the Eagles will be coming off a win over the 49ers, and the Bears will be coming off of similarly a home win against Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Philadelphia lost convincingly to the Bears at home after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, which could help them in this game. It's not
again. I'm not big on motivation, but yeah, maybe they won't be as overconfident as they were on that Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, exactly.
Either that or Howie Grossman had the Bears in Survivor.
Maybe. Patriots are -1.5, -120 against the Jaguars.
That would be next week's intriguing game.
Yeah, that would
Because
be.
Jacksonville will have just knocked out Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? That's a 4-5
S-
matchup.
which you would think would bolster their power ratings there. So, or maybe that's already factored in. Rams
But
are
but, the,
minus.
but,
Yeah,
New- but New England would have knocked off well, at least in your mind, and I think a lot
Chargers.
of people, a suspect Charger team.
Yeah, yeah. Rams are -1.5 in Philly.
You know, when you lose to a team the way that they've lost to the Eagles the last couple of years, 4 games, I don't know that I wouldn't take the Eagles. Unless if the Rams win, 31-10 over the Panthers, and the Eagles win 23-21 or something over the 49ers, I'd have some concerns maybe for the Eagles.
Cleveland at home has been ridiculous. Yeah. Buffalo -120 money line. Denver's a must bet. Yeah, that seems pretty crazy. Where are we at here? Rams Seahawks are.
Well, the question is though, how would Denver's rushing offense do against Buffalo's rushing defense in mile high altitude, especially in the second half?
It's not a good rushing offense. They couldn't even run against Charger backups.
No, but I mean in general. I don't have their
couldn't-
numbers here. Let me see what their numbers are for the season.
They couldn't run against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Chiefs scrubs, like, I don't know.
They're middle of the pack. They're middle of the pack, 16th.
Yeah,
But their defense is excellent.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
So you'd have the number 2 defense, 91 yards a game, going against the number 1 offense at 160.
Yeah.
And then you'd have the number 16 rushing offense going against the number 28.
I have called them a paper tiger on the show. So
maybe about Denver?
I don't think they're
Denver,
yeah,
you mean?
Yeah, Denver. Yeah. I'm not a believer in them. Seahawks are -1.5 against the Rams.
How much of that negative opinion might be reduced by Sean Payton?
You mean having faith in Sean Payton winning playoff games? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I mean, Sean Payton did lose to that Seattle team we talked about before.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's flawless in the playoffs.
No, nobody is.
Right. I don't think Denver is winning a playoff game. Let's just say that.
Okay.
If they play Pittsburgh, maybe. I don't think they beat anyone.
Oh, by the way, do you have a line on that advanced line for Pittsburgh and Denver?
Yes.
It is
Denver -4.5.
That does seem awfully large. But then again, Pittsburgh will have beaten Houston.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And they're good defense. They could win 38-35, but that's unlikely.
Right. So maybe this drops to 4.
I think even at that 39.5 total, it still looks like an under game.
Yeah. What else do we have here? We have Houston at New England, which is New England -1.5. Same as Jacksonville.
Same as Jacksonville. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, in many ways they're somewhat similar, except Jacksonville with Lawrence has the much better proven offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But again, I pointed out Jacksonville's weak schedule during their winning streak.
Yeah.
But remember, their 2 wins against winning teams are against 2 teams that you don't like, and I understand that. Chargers and Broncos.
Right. I mean, but the way they won those games, I thought was they didn't just win by 3. They dominated.
No, they dominated them, and one of them was on the road at your lousy Denver.
Lousy. So. Speaking of lousy Denver, they're -1.5 against Houston.
I might take Houston in that one.
I would take anyone against Denver.
Assuming the game against Pittsburgh was not 38-35.
Yeah, right. San Francisco, Seattle,
or the 35 points Pittsburgh scored were on defensive touchdowns against C.J. Stroud, which would be a different issue against Denver then. A different reason to possibly consider Denver if he's coming off a 5-pick-6 game.
Right. Seattle, this is the highest spread we've seen, -5.5 against San Francisco.
Hmm. That's interesting. That's in that no man's land of 5.5. Let's see which way the public bets it.
Wasn't
Because I think there's still some people, and not the sharps, but some people who don't believe in Seattle.
yeah, I believe in 52 players on Seattle. I don't believe in Darnold, but
Yeah.
I do like the team otherwise.
Well, he
So
did win the big game against the 49ers. It
yeah,
was 13-3, so it didn't really have much to do with Darnold.
yeah, 13 points. That I don't know. That wasn't really impressive.
No.
So hold on. Was Green Bay Seattle?
That was more negative. That gave more of a negative impression to me on what to do against Philadelphia.
Look at this. Seattle's minus 3.5 against Green Bay, but they were 5.5 against San Francisco. What is that? I'm not a fan of the Niners, but the Green Bay is clearly worse than the Niners. I don't. Maybe not. Maybe not clearly.
Well, without Parsons, I think so.
Right. If yeah, sure. If Parsons were playing, that'd be a different story. That's very strange. I think
that shows great respect for Seattle.
But 2 points. Saying San Francisco's 2 points worse than Green Bay without Parsons.
Yeah, 5 again. 5, yeah, 5. I had it the other way around.
Yeah,
I thought 3.5 against San Francisco, 5.5 against Green Bay. That would make more sense.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. I don't get that one at all.
Well, keep in mind that San Francisco, what did they win? The first game 17-13 and lost the second one 13-3.
Yeah.
So it's not like they were blowouts. They were tough to watch.
I'm not saying this line's wrong. I think the Green Bay Seattle line is off. I think that's.
In other words, what you're saying is that if they're 5.5 against San Francisco, they should probably be 7.5 against Green Bay.
Well, it's maybe 6 or 6.5, maybe not that much higher, but yeah. Okay, let's see here. We have Niners at Rams. Oh, okay, this is the highest one, 7, which makes sense because the Rams are plus 1.5 against Seattle in Seattle. So it says Seattle's the Rams are a point and a half better. So I guess that makes sense. So Rams are minus 7. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of it has to do how these teams play this week to get to next week. Not that it should really matter. And in fact, people always say, recency bias.
Mm-hmm.
These numbers are important to keep in mind because we'll see what recency bias does to the adjusted lines.
That's true. Rams are minus 4.5 in Chicago.
Yeah, I'd probably still lean Rams.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, like I said,
again, my concern about the Rams is what I said. Let's see how their rush defense does.
That's true.
This week, given the last 2 games that they played, and 4 of the last 7.
So New England is minus 5.5 against Pittsburgh, which is a point higher than Denver was against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, New England outplayed Pittsburgh in their first meeting, but lost the game.
Yes, but I'm saying the rating New England 1 point better than Denver.
Oh, because Denver was what minus
4.5, and that's what that's what the bye included. So maybe they had a 0.5 point. So this is saying New England's a 1.5 points better than Denver. Interesting.
Well, you got the rookie quarterback, or not the first time starter, but it won't be a first time starter,
right?
In Denver. And by the way, Bo Nix was in that situation last year when they lost.
Yeah, they got clobbered. Yeah. We have a few more. We have 3 more. Pittsburgh at Denver. Oh, we did this one already. 4.5. Denver minus 4.5. So we have 2 more. Buffalo at Houston. Buffalo's minus 1.5 in Houston. Interesting. That's the same number they are in Denver. So they're saying Denver. And
what was the line? What was the line when they met a few weeks ago?
Was that week?
I have it here.
It's like week 13. No, week 14.
I think it was a little bit later. 14 or 15. It was a Thursday night.
It's Buffalo's minus 6 in Houston, but that was before Houston started winning.
No, it was in the middle of the streak, I think.
I think that was Houston's first win, wasn't it? Or maybe there's a second win.
No, the first one was when they came back against Jacksonville.
Which was week 11.
That was November 9th. That was maybe week 10 or 11.
Okay, so that was the third. They'd won 2 games.
We're talking about Houston?
Yeah, Houston.
I've got it right here. Yeah. Okay, they beat the Jaguar. Yeah, they beat the Jaguars, That
and the
comeback game that
Titans.
they beat the Titans, and then
Yeah,
23-16 against
yeah.
the Bills. Let me just see the stats in that game.
Yeah, so back then
Um,
they weren't considered to be good because they needed that comeback against Jacksonville, and then they barely beat
yeah,
Tennessee. So I don't think there was not
yeah.
a high opinion
Buffalo
on them.
outgained them 326 to 261.
Yeah, they were not there was not a high
And
opinion on them.
Stroud was sacked 8 times
Yeah,
in that game for
Thursday
70
nights don't
yards
count.
in loss.
Yeah, Thursday nights don't count. It's just true. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, maybe that it does factor in Trent.
No, I mean, and I think I read it to you when I wrote. No, I didn't write the Houston one, but they've gone 11-2 since starting. Oh no, that's the Bears. Bears were 11-2 after starting 0-2.
Yeah. Do they have odds for Steelers and Patriots for AFC Championship? I don't think they have odds for AFC Championship matchups.
No.
They have the Super Bowl match odds, but they don't
Super
have
Bowl
that.
odds, yeah.
Yeah. Allen's 0-4 against the Texans. Yeah, at Texans. Yeah, that's kind of it's been a house of horrors for Buffalo. So
well, what that also says is that he didn't do well when the Texans were a lousy team, which was before 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't. Well, they would only play them once in the regular season and once in the playoffs. That's so. 0-4 goes back several years.
So the other possible matchup is Jaguars -2.5 against Houston. Sounds about right.
Do they have a total in that one?
44.5. Yeah.
Well, I'd have to look under in that one.
Yeah, I would think so.
And everyone will look at that 36-29, but I think the last touchdown of the game was a fumble return or something like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Allen doesn't play. Yeah, he does not play well in Houston for sure. Okay. Yeah, I feel like we've covered everything, unless with the exception being, who do you
College
like
football.
in the Indiana Oregon game? Because we already talked about the Ole Miss game.
Well, you didn't say anything in Ole Miss, did you?
Well, I said I'm leaning Ole Miss too.
Yeah, I like Ole Miss.
Carson Dreck, I don't like.
And let me see. Let me see what I wrote up. Something that was interesting in the Indiana-Oregon game, which I found pretty interesting. Let me see if I can call it up here. Let's see. CFP semifinals. Okay. Indiana. Indiana had held 12 of 14 foes to under 90 rushing yards, including postseason games. And they had an average of allowing, I think, Oregon, where I had it, Indiana. I think Indiana number 4 against the run, 81 yards per game for the season, including postseason. I think it's including, but that includes allowing 218 rushing yards in their 27-14 win against Old Dominion in the opening game of the season. Old Dominion's been a horrible team for like 5 or 6 years. They went 10-3 this year after 7 straight losing seasons, and they won their bowl game against South Florida. But that's the team where they gave up all those yards to. But 12 of their other 13 foes, they held to under 19 rushing yards. And okay, here's what I also have here. This matchup guarantees one Big Ten team will play for the national title. Big Ten teams have won the last 2 national title games, Ohio State and Michigan the year before. Back in October, Indiana won 30-20 as 7-point road underdogs, outgained Oregon 326 to 267. It was Oregon's lowest total yards of the season. Their next lowest was the 209 that they gained against Virginia Tech. The loss to Indiana was the only game in which the Ducks were outgained. Only Iowa held Oregon to less than 21 points, and that was 18 in Oregon's 18-16 win. Both teams are noted for their great offense, but they both play great defense. Oregon allowed 252, which is number 2 in the country, 15 points per game, number 8. Indiana allowed 272, which is number 6, 11.8 points, which is 3. Thus, we would see this as a lower than expected scoring game. Oregon's average 51.3, Indiana's average 51.1. So a total of 47.5. It suggests that you would go over, but keep in mind that those 51.3 and 51.8 include a lot of blowouts that each of those teams won. So when you go up against better teams, that 51-point average probably drops down to about 43, 44. So, yeah. So I like Indiana in that game minus the 3.5. A lot of people like revenge, but revenge, there have been 4 revenge games so far. I like Old Piss. Okay, well, that must be an LSU fan. Well, that's Luke. Okay. I like that. But what was I going to say there with I lost the train of thought there because I was trying to be clever. Okay, yeah. There have been. This is the 5th revenge game of the postseason. Okay. So far, so if you say, oh well, the team's playing for revenge, they were 2-2 so far. Alabama was involved in 2 of them. Lost to beat Georgia in the regular season. Lost to them in the playoffs in the SEC title game. Alabama lost to Oklahoma in the regular season, beat them in the first round of the playoffs. Mississippi, those were the 2 where the losing team got revenge. Mississippi beat Tulane in the regular season, beat them by almost the same score again in the playoffs. I think it was 41-10. And the other one was a weird matchup. The one that they had trouble filling was the last one that got filled in, the Birmingham Bowl. Georgia Southern and Appalachian State are both members of the Sun Belt Conference, and they played in the regular season. And Georgia Southern won that game at Appalachian State, and then they toyed with them in the bowl game in that Birmingham Bowl. I want to say it was like 41-7 or something like that, some ridiculous score. Mm-hmm. So revenge doesn't necessarily, you don't get it very often, and you very rarely get it with 2 conference teams meeting each other unless it is in a playoff like we've had a few times with Georgia and Alabama, things like that. So that does not necessarily mean that the revenge means anything. Game situation, hot hand is getting the usage.
Yeah, he's talking about instead of pregame props, he bet props live.
Oh, okay, because,
yeah. You know, like someone asked me, like, hey, should I bet someone for rushing yard, a quarterback for rushing yards? And I said, well, why don't you do it live? Because if they're ahead, they're probably not going to run as much as if they're.
And then you got kneel downs at the end of the game if they are ahead.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. So
and the quarterback rushing yards are usually, except in the case of like a Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson, they're usually maybe in the 15 to 25 range. Aaron Rodgers might be 7.5, but
it might be a half.
No, but I mean, sure. The mobile quarterbacks have, they factor in, to 25 to 35, sometimes a little bit more than that, depending upon the quarterback. But the immobile ones don't have very much, and they'll have those. They will have those rushing yards in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know why
they are.
I don't know why we're speculating. We could just look what Aaron Rodgers' rushing prop is,
for
this week, and it's a half is minus 108.
Well, it's interesting because if you think the Steelers are going to win, he might go under that one. He might have 1.5 yards and go under it on 3 kneel downs.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the game.
Yep. The under is minus 122. So
but what didn't he have? What did he have in the last game?
He had a run. I don't know what it was.
At least one. Yeah, let me see what he had here. I'll tell you in a moment.
He had like a 9-yard run or something, I think.
Let's see. Week 16. Yeah, that's the one where he wussed out and ran out of bounds instead of going for the first down, which it looked like he had a path to it.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, no. Oh, no, that was 1 rush for 20 yards.
Oh, last week?
So so his total in this game is 40 games worth.
Yeah.
Half a yard for 20 games.
Right. That's funny.
I'm just curious because I want to see something. I want to hear what his season rushing totals are.
Yeah.
Actually, better than you would think.
Okay.
But again, it probably has a couple. 21 attempts for 61 yards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, so let's slam the over half.
That's 3.8 yards per game. Now, I don't know if that includes the postseason.
I don't know. So
because that I don't know if that 20-yard run is part of the 61 or not. Well, you know what? I've got the app here, so it could tell me. Well, don't tell me it doesn't tell me his rushing yards. Oh, it
So
does. Okay, yeah.
in 17 games this year, he's gone over a half, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. So just
What's
slightly
the
more
price
than
on
that.
the
The
over a
over
half? Is
is
minus 108.
minus 108. So yeah, he's gone over a half 9 out of 17 times.
That's better than 50%.
Yeah. Oh no, he missed one game, right? He missed one game, didn't he, to Mason Rudolph? So it's 9 out of 16, I think.
Okay, that's
So
even better. Yeah, let me
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Well, let's put okay. Here are his rushing totals: 26, 9, 6. Oh, no, sorry, no, 26, 9, 0. But he had 0 carries.
Mhm.
0 and 2 carries. 0 and 1 carry. 0 and 1 carry. 0 0 carry. 0 and 0. Oh, so he started running late in the year. 6 yards on 1 carry back in October. Then 1 and 1, 8 yards, 3 carries. So he ran a few times early in the season and a few times late in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he was banged up in the middle of the season,
Yeah.
so that kind of makes sense. So yeah, let's stand this over. Let's do it. Anyway, we a couple of some stuff I missed here. Has it been a recent trend of teams who could host the Super Bowl have played in the conference championship game? I don't know.
I'd have
Last
to
year
think
was
about that. Yeah.
last year was New Orleans, and the Saints were not in the playoffs. So
Two
I
years
don't know.
ago, and 2 years ago is the Raiders.
Right.
Oh.
They were certainly not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then yeah, I don't remember Arizona. Arizona's the one before that. They were.
Yeah.
I don't think they were a playoff team then. So yeah, it's. I mean, if you're looking at it, it's been a while.
Was
So
Tampa Bay the only team that played in their home stadium?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I know the
Niners,
49ers played like
Yeah.
at Stanford one year or so, or Palo Alto, I think, when they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Then I mean, they obviously have a chance this year. We'll see, but
Yeah.
I have my doubts with what they can do. So the Rams played at home in the Super Bowl. Is that true?
Maybe they when they played the Steelers in Super Bowl.
I think against the Bengals. What was that Bengals Super
Maybe
Bowl?
that was the Bengals. Yeah, I don't remember.
Where was it?
I don't know if it would have been SoFi.
It wasn't SoFi. Interesting. It wasn't
Okay.
SoFi. Yeah. Okay. Good
That's
call.
the answer.
Good
Yeah.
call, Butters.
Yeah. Very good.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So they're 2-0. Those teams. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rams Bengals. Yeah, I thought it was only the Bucks too. Apparently not.
I did as well. Yeah, but I forgot.
The
about
Bucks
that
is
one.
the first one. The Bucks is the first.
That's
one.
it. Yeah, and then it happened so
Then
soon
happened again.
afterwards.
Yeah. Forgot about that. So good call, Butters.
Oh wait, no, the Rams versus the was it who was the Rams playing?
The Bengals.
That was
the following
before,
year.
Wasn't that? What's that?
That was the following.
Oh, was
year.
it the following? I thought it may have been the year before the Bucks. So that been the
Yeah.
2020 season then.
The year before the Bucks was Chiefs 49ers in Miami, and
Okay.
then it was Chiefs Bucks in Tampa, and then it was Rams Bengals in LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Rams Patriots was
Yeah.
a few years earlier.
Yeah, and then it was Chiefs Eagles in Arizona, then Chiefs Niners in Las
49ers.
Vegas,
Yeah.
and then Chiefs Eagles in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's how it's going now. So yeah, it's happened twice then. So
Yeah. It could happen a third time, unlikely, but
yeah,
it could.
hey, it's any given Sunday. Do it 3 times.
Yeah, well, this has to be any given 4 Sundays.
right, yeah.
Well, 3 Sundays to get
3.
there.
Yeah, any given Sunday times 3. So,
Yeah.
all right, we're 3 hours, so I feel like it's a good starting point. I know you have to get to your other write-ups.
Yeah, I got 3 of those, and I got to go grab something at the convenience store.
Okay, it's only 10:40 for where you are.
That's
so.
true.
Yeah, I think my dog needs to go out anyway, so I should probably head out. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with Evan after the college football playoff game.
Oh, did you say who you liked in Indiana, Oregon?
Oh, I did not. I like Indiana as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that they're the better team. Oregon's a real good team too, but
yeah.
Well,
they should have beat as badly as Texas Tech played. They should have beat them better than.
Did we touch on weather? So last question. Evan asked us earlier. We did briefly. Yeah. No, it's a little too early to touch on weather. But it looked like the only game that was really going to be affected was the Chicago game.
The wind. and the
17,
cold.
17 mile an hour wind and
Pittsburgh
potential
could be
snow.
affected Monday night.
Yeah,
Not Cleveland. What's the other one?
Rams, Panthers, a little bit.
Panthers. No.
Uh,
What was the other one? New England.
Chargers, Patriots. Yeah,
New England. Yeah.
yeah. So that didn't look too bad. There's like 36 degrees, so not anything terrible.
By the way, do you like any of these games to go over the total? I can't find one.
I will give you my totals here. So in the Jaguars Bills, I have under.
Yeah, that's 52.
Eagles Niners, I have under 45. The Patriots Chargers are under 46.
That's by the way, that one seems like a very high number.
It does, yeah, it does. I have Steelers Texans under 39 and a half.
Right.
So the Saturday games, I have
Green Bay,
Rams,
Chicago could also be an under.
I have Rams Panthers under. Okay, Green Bay, Chicago. I have over 46. That's the only game I've over.
And that's the one that has the greatest chance of being affected by weather.
Right. So I might.
That's
I
only
might
a little. What's
adjust
the total
that
in that
to
one?
see.
44 and a half?
I saw 46. I think
Oh, is
it
it?
may have dropped because of the
okay.
weather concerns. So, yeah, that if the weather's bad, then I will change it to under. So yeah. So
Now, let me see what that total is right now. That total is 40. I'm showing actually 45 and a half.
okay, yeah, it was 46 on Tuesday when I did the write up. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. It would drop because of the weather forecast, but we'll see. It's a little far out for there to know what's going to happen. So,
well, they played a 28-21 game in Chicago the first time, in Green Bay the first time,
and
then they played that 22-16 overtime game.
Overtime, yeah, yep.
In the rematch of 2 weeks later.
Yep.
Yeah.
And no Parsons this time, so this could be both of their Super Bowls. Yeah. Well, I mean, they obviously hate each other, and they've been around for forever. So, it's the bowl of this team will get blown out in round 2.
Yeah, I don't see it really being as again. I think of it. It's not that we're playing the Green Bay Packers. We're playing to advance to the next round, and we're not playing the Chicago Bears. We're playing to advance to the next round.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's interesting because there will be obviously a great deal of familiarity between the two teams because they play twice a year, and all that. I don't know what to make about the Bears' poor effort last week when they controlled. And again, you don't know if they did it deliberately. Maybe they wanted the number 3 seed instead of the number 2 seed. Of course, they got the number 2 seed when Philadelphia lost.
Right.
But,
I don't know. I think they'd want the Packers again instead of the NFC West team. So I don't know.
Well, they ended up getting it anyway, but not the way they thought.
Well, I think Detroit showed up for the game. Detroit really showed up for the game. They wanted to win.
Well, then Chicago didn't until the fourth quarter, and it took 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions to tie the game.
Yeah.
Where was that effort in the first 3 quarters?
Was the effort missing, or are they just not a good team? I don't know. I don't know. It's a legitimate question.
Given Detroit's defensive problems, I just think they didn't show up.
Okay, we'll see.
Which is unusual for a Ben Johnson team.
Yeah.
Let me see what the stats were in that game, just out of curiosity. Maybe because I didn't watch a lot of that game. I was watching the other games, but let me see here.
I did watch that game closely because I Jared Goff over passing yards. That did
okay.
They
let me see.
They had by a wide margin.
That's what I thought. 433 to 270.
Yeah. Detroit did anything they wanted to against that defense.
And turnovers were even. They each had 1 interception.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody lost the fumble.
Mm-hmm.
Sacks 3-1. Passing yards 122. Bears ran for 65 yards. That shows a lack of effort because the Detroit defense is not that good. They were also 4 for 11 on 3rd down.
Yeah. Butter saying hangover from the 49ers game. Maybe.
No.
You don't think so?
I don't believe in the overtime hangover loss. It's not that many more plays that you get involved in.
But it wasn't even overtime. That game didn't go overtime. But
that's right.
Butters is saying that felt like
there's a lot of snaps in that game with the scoring. But
yeah,
I don't believe in that significantly. I mean, they've been able to understand the dynamics of overcoming a 6-day week. But no, I don't know why it would have been a game that the Bears would not have tried for because the prize was to, unless they wanted to avoid the Packers that early.
Maybe. Surprisingly, there weren't a lot of snaps in that Niner Bear game. They're only 138.
No.
There were only
Big
138.
plays,
So
yeah.
a
Average
lot
of
of big
69
plays.
each, which is about a typical number. Well, it's a little bit above average. I forget what the average is. I think it's something like 62 to 63. But why would the Bears? Because if they had fallen to the number 3 seed, they would have played Philadelphia. No, I mean, sorry, San Francisco.
The Niners. Yeah, the Niners again. So
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, they didn't know that. It could have been the Rams too.
Yeah, it could have been. And I don't think these teams, for the most part, really care who they play. Just get in there and.
I agree with that. Yeah, I don't think the fans care. The
fans
players,
do.
The players, they really don't care, unless it's like a difference between playing at home and not. I think that
makes a difference. Yeah.
So
Chicago and Philadelphia had they were either going to be 2-3 or 3-2, so they were going to host a home game.
And we saw that in the Houston game where they benched some starters, even though they were playing for the 5 seed.
Although the difference between a 2 and a 3 seed is significant because it means in order to play for the right to go to the NFC Championship game, the number 2 seed has the home field advantage over the number 3 seed.
Yeah, right.
So that would have been a reason for Chicago to want to win, so that if the top seeds win. If the bottom seeds win, it's going to be an advantage anyway. Okay, but if the top seeds win, if seeds 2, 3, and 4 all win, okay, the number 2 seed gets to host the number 3 seed. So that's why getting the number 2 seed would have been important for Chicago. That should have ensured more of an effort.
Yeah,
you would think. And look, when it came down to the end of the game, they showed the effort by getting 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. So why did they wait till the fourth quarter?
I have no idea. I mean, Detroit played a lot harder than I think they thought they would. Because Detroit laid a complete egg in Minnesota, and I think they just assumed they'd walk all over Detroit, and they didn't. So
that was Dan Campbell, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, my dog has to go out, so I have to get going. So, guys, thank you for watching. We'll be back. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow after the college football playoff game with Evan, and then Friday with Tom. So stay tuned for that. But please hit like, subscribe, comment below.
Everybody, best of luck this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Share this video. Visit walterfootball.com for tons of free content about the NFL, and visit thelogicalapproach.com. Andy, any final words before we head out?
Nothing. I'm going to probably, again, try to get the spreadsheet and the power rankings up there. If not tonight, then tomorrow once I finish writing.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great night. And I'd like to echo what Andy said, if we don't talk to you, good luck with all your bets, and I will talk to you.